talk. Look, would like to welcome all to a cool hangout where we can chat and talk. Look, would like to welcome all to a cool hangout where we can chat and talk. Look, would like to welcome all to a cool hangout where we can chat and talk. Look, would like to welcome all to a cool hangout where we can chat and talk. Look, would like to welcome all to a cool hangout where we can chat and talk. Look, would like to welcome all to a cool hangout where
Hello. So, welcome everybody. Slightly different intro music today. I pressed the wrong one. But it's okay. We didn't get the verses this time. We'll do that on the way out. But welcome everybody to episode 6. How are we on episode 6 already? Feels like we just started.
Goodness me.
Episode 6, and this one doesn't have a title. It's just all about the boys. So our illustrious hosts. So I'm Cool and Luke, and to my below us.
Sorry, is the music still loud?
Yeah.
Hey, sorry.
It's louder than me.
I can't hear you.
It's really loud. It's really. Sorry.
I think I've switched it off now. Is it? Can you still hear it? I can't hear it.
No, it's off now. It's
No,
off
not
now.
now,
But
no.
it's really loud.
I
Sorry.
couldn't hear.
Do you know what? It's funny because while I was talking, normally I can kind of hear myself back in my. Do you know? I think it's because. I put the hat on. To try and muffle the sound a little bit, but I couldn't hear a thing. Was it really loud?
Yes.
For me, it was. Yeah.
Yes.
Listen. Edron 57. Oh, Christ, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So, what did everybody hear? Did you hear anything?
No, when
I don't know if I
no,
heard
because you were
it.
cutting out as well when the music was still
Oh,
on.
Hey.
Tech dips. Wait a sec.
Put the cans of power on, and then you'll hear it. Papa Rex says the bass was thumping.
Bass was pumping. Yeah, I put that hat on because it was a bit more comfortable on my head and to try and block out a little bit of the sound, the feedback I get. But it obviously didn't work, so I couldn't hear a bloody thing. It's just you could see you two guys laughing, and even then I couldn't hear you laughing. So I was thinking, hang about, something's going wrong here. Okay, so right, let's play with this a bit. How's that? Is that too loud? The background music?
Yeah, that's
not-
better.
That's better. Yeah, much
Right.
better.
There you go. Sorry, guys, I forgot to switch the volume. So apologies. So anybody who rode with us through that other technical difficulty, I think one day we'll have an episode of this show without one. But yeah, so episode 6, Cool Hang Luke, and just the boys this week. So so myself, Whittakee, Slurpy, no particular order. And we have got some topic discussions. I think, you know what, if I didn't have some topic discussions, I think it'd just be a mess. But it's very loosey-goosey this week. Because we're not going to try to, too hard to put ourselves under pressure to get through them all. And I think I'd rather, if one topic is particularly flowing really well and people are chatting about it and the chat is into it, then we'll just, ride it out as long as it goes. And, the other topics are there just as a guideline. And it'll also help me out because I try to do a little bit of prep work and get some pictures, some more visual stimulation for you guys, as opposed to just I'm messing with this again, as opposed to just seeing our 3 mugs. But I didn't get time to quite do it as much as I'd like, so in no particular order, we'll just pick one out and we'll go for it. But
What you think?
Jesus,
Chat to start with.
the comments.
Got Papa
17
Rex,
Line away
got,
here.
got Austin Bricks,
Well, since we got so many comments and it looks like there's a few people, let's shout them out.
Nimble Saucepan. Matley. Ostiv.
Yeah.
Padawan. Papa Rex. Someone called Matthew McGuigan.
Oh, definitely not me.
Yeah.
I should
Base was
reach.
stamping. Come to say hello, boys.
Hey,
going
everyone.
back to a bar hop date. Ooh. Okay. Good luck with the date, mate. Hope it goes well.
Getting stiffy.
Blue
Yeah.
Oyster Club.
Someone's going to be stiff for our stiff tonight, hopefully.
Ooh.
You're good, boys. Much better. Yeah. I can't believe we're on episode 6 already. Jesus.
I'll be drawing my pension soon.
I know. Do you know what? I was thinking that we can make it kind of every 10 episodes, we won't have a guest and we'll just kind of be a bit more relaxed. But, do you know, after last week, not that there was anything wrong with any of the guests or any of the content last week, don't get me wrong, but I just needed to sort of decompress a little bit more than probably usual. And I just thought, you know what? I'm not going to put myself under too much pressure. And I literally did nothing until probably yesterday in terms of planning, thumbnail and all the rest of it. So, yeah. So how's everybody doing? Chat, co-hosts, how are you feeling?
Good.
Good. Hopefully, I'm going back to work next week. So,
Ooh,
Oh, nice.
good news. How are you feeling? You ready for it or?
I think so. I just have to wait till when I go back. But
Yeah.
I feel a lot better.
How long will you have been off if you do go back next week so far?
When was it? So it's probably about 6-7 weeks. Maybe.
That's not too bad. I mean, I was off. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's nothing like it was a couple of years ago. So yeah, but hopefully it will be phased back. I won't be going straight back doing like full-time hours straight away.
Yeah. So it's like what do you call it? Staggered
back
return, phased return.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Nice. Any news? Any goss, Slurpy?
Just back to class every Monday
Yep.
for really just the rest of the year, and then if all goes well, I'll be into placement next year. So no, it's
What is-
just getting back into the routine again. So
I was going to say, what does that look like?
for placement,
Hmm.
it's just one day a week, but it would just be during the actual working week. So you're looking at like, if all goes well, I'll only be off one day a week, a Sunday next year for about 4 or 5 months while placement's on. So it'll be a bit pressed for time for then, but it'll pass. You have to just kind of weather the storm and all anyway, and it's like, I'm not shitting myself yet over it. Sorry for the use of the language, like, but it'll be a change. But because it was strange being off like college for so long. It was over 4.5 months. So they kind of just get thrown back into it again. It just takes a wee while. But
Why were you off for so long then?
well, it finished for us at on the 29th of April, and then we resumed there the 16th of September 2 weeks ago. Just a summer
Right.
break. And that's the same for a lot of universities and colleges here in the UK and Ireland. But you're like, I love this break. I'm off for so long, and then you kind of forget how your brain works when you go back to class. You're like, I forget
I do
everything.
that every day I wake up, mate. Yeah, that just sounds like
Let
another
your
day for me.
brain.
Okay,
But
well,
no,
good
thanks
luck.
for asking.
So, what is it you're studying? I think you've told us before, but I forget. So
I'm-
forgive me. Go on.
I'm studying mental health counselling. That would be the label I would tell
yeah.
people, but it's integrative counselling. So I'd be learning a lot of techniques around it, and you can lead to avenues like working for an NHS practice, agency, private practice, charity, and this time, 2 years time, I should be qualified. So under 2 years time. Fuck.
You'd be too good. You'd be too good for us, then, mate.
No, I still intend on being here. Don't worry.
So a little
It's
bit
good
of
respite,
a.
too.
It was quite a few years for my daughter. 'Cause she's obviously, well, she's a mental health nurse, so probably slightly different. But
I see probably length of time.
Yeah, well, it's certainly. I don't envy you guys. Well, just in education at all, because I did well in education, but I hated it so much. I couldn't wait to get away from it. First chance at a full-time job, I was out of there like a shot. And I remember having nightmares for years afterwards that I wake up and I had to go back to school, or I had to go back to university or college, and I was just like, send shivers down my spine. I just hated education. But I think it was just people telling me what to do. I'm not good with that.
It's so chill now though, because it's only 1 day a week.
Yeah,
and everyone's
that's
kind of vibing, but in a good way.
Yeah,
but
Sounds.
vibing, but in a good way. What's the negative version of vibing?
Just no negative vibes. Like just God don't.
All right. I was gonna say because
the kind of vibes where it ends the party prematurely, like those kind of vibes. Yeah. But no, the class is very supportive and all too, so it's good. Padawan, I have to do a mental health course at work, and I'm probably the last person you want doing it. Bruh.
Yeah, no, I don't know though. I think some people come into their element when they're in a position where they got to help others, especially if they can call on their own experiences, and you don't realize what experience you've got until you're in a position where you're trying to support somebody else. But anyway, we won't go too much into that.
Actually, I would just like to say, as you were saying that, I'd like to say big shout out to Padawan because he helped me out with something. So thank you, CJ.
Nice.
All right, bit of a teaser there, but
early shout out.
I'll say 2 words to you: human jabber.
Oh, right. Is that it? You get it?
He's ordered it for me, and so brilliant. He sorted it out.
Oh, fuck! I want to get it though.
He didn't give me a shout out for it, but it's probably because he's got no room in his house for all the other stuff I've collected.
I shouted to him. It was nice.
I wasn't. It wasn't something that I was like, "Ooh, I need to have that myself," if I'm honest. But I do like the idea of it. It sounds cool. But so I got.
I thought he'd look nice in my cantina. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's just a really, really cool idea because it's a very, 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 very obscure. It's the original Java that like probably 500,000 people have seen the scene, if that. And also he's from Northern Ireland, so that's why I'm kind of like we almost had our chance.
Yeah, you got that Irish connection there. So I mean, the closest I can get with a Welshman is the if you play in Skywalker Saga, Lego Skywalker Saga on the computers, and you go to Mustafa and you chat to the what do you call them? The mining sort of characters there. They all got Welsh accents.
And is that the first instance of Welsh in Star Wars?
It is, yeah. So I mean, you do see those. You do see those characters. Well, not really, because no, I suppose it is really, isn't it? Yeah, I can't think of any of the actors who got a Welsh connection, not off the top of my head, anyway. But you do see those characters in Revenge of the Sith, kind of in the background or whatever, knocking about on Mustafa. But yeah, you go to the planet and chat to them, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know, there was a guy here the other day, and he was fighting with another guy with a lightsaber," and it was great that you could hear the Welsh accent or whatever in something Star Wars and Lego, but it made us all out to be complete idiots because these characters in there are proper donuts, like so. But yeah, I suppose that's the way it is. But beggars can't be choosers. So to change the subject and to give you guys a quick little hint and tip, and this is what I wanted to try and pull up as a nice tidy picture, but falls through myself for a sec. So I managed to dig out my instructions for this is Lego set 6073 Castle, which looks like that. This is the one my parents built for me.
Yeah.
So Just an example, right?
I find that story funny.
This is stage 15. And this is how much you've done. And just to go to show, this is stage 16. There's nothing on there about, if you look at them together, no, doesn't say what pieces, doesn't highlight the pieces. It's just, they're not there, they're there.
I originally thought the highlighted pieces was the red ones, but no, they are just red ones.
No, that's part of the drawbridge. And it's, so it's just like, yeah, this is what it looks like after you put 25 more pieces on. Work it out for yourself.
And you don't, it just doesn't show any, this is with the pieces you use quantity. It's like, have a go at it.
They do it in a couple of places, like here, for example. They point out specifically that you gotta add that piece on there.
String.
But it only happens on, there's 2 on that one. But only because that piece is really well hidden, you probably would miss it otherwise. But it probably does that maybe 5 times through the whole instruction booklet. So it's certainly not for every page. And you don't even have a checklist of inventory in the book. And obviously there was no internet then, so you couldn't do it online. So it was just, you open your bag and it would be one clear plastic bag. You'd open your bag, you'd empty your pieces out, and then you'd just kind of follow the stages, get to the end and be like, oh, I've got 12 pieces left. Go back, redo it. That was my memory of Star Wars, So, and I've also got...
It's so strange to me.
Yeah, well, why don't we just make this, since we've started talking about it, I may as well just make it the first topic. Why not, guys? So what do we want to call it? What do we call it? I think it was like the future, the past and the future of instruction booklet. So I can't remember. Slurpy, you suggested this, right? Because it's basically because there's been a kind of, I don't even know whether I want to call it a rumor, but there's been rumblings of instruction booklets being null and void in the future. And I think if I'm honest, I think it will come to that. I think the company's already tried to do that by having only digital instructions for the Mario sets, although that kind of into the aesthetic of the product. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you believe it? Do you think that's just where we're going to go?
I've kind of been watching a bit recently, and it does seem like that they put it out there to see, but they had such a negative that it's not going to happen.
It started off
about it.
It just I seen Brickset. They did the article where it was an Lego insiders like survey about whether you would like to see digital only instructions, and I knew as soon as it was like that, it's like this is not going to go well. It just had so much negative reaction to it, and it's like. I just think it kind of goes like that's why I don't like the Mario sets. They're just only, the physical instructions. Half the fucking time that the app doesn't work for my phone for doing digital instructions anyway. Just get errors all the time, and it's like I'm never going to bother with this anyway. And also, it kind of keeps you detached from the technology using the paper manuals, especially in this day and age. Yeah.
They said they want kids to get off the tablets and to to build and use their imagination. So get off the tablets, get off your.
But at the same time, I do think it's inevitable.
Got one, have they?
No, that's true. No, that's true. But
it's
sorry.
Maybe, but I don't think it'd be a long time.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be something that would take a long time to do.
Yeah,
and it's and then it's also like it's there, and it's also wondering like, if they do like, I don't do this, but I've read stories of people like, I going on an airplane or whatever, or I'm on a wee bus trip, and I buy like a little £10 Lego set, build it on the bus. What if you had no instructions and you're driving through the English countryside with no internet?
Yeah,
you just be sitting there.
Well, hopefully you're not building it while you're driving.
I'll say nothing there, but no, I just think it was a silly. I just think it was a silly, just a suggestion.
I think they try these things just to see what the reactions would be.
Yeah. I know M&R did a funny segment on his video, like if they.
That's what. Yeah, that's
like, yeah. Like if they could get away with putting no figures in a set, they probably would or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It baffles me. Like it really, really does. Just
But also with the UCS sets and that, they come with
Mm.
quite a bit of information as well. It's quite nice for
Mm.
some people to see and to read up.
absolutely.
It's
I
part
just,
of it. It's like, yeah.
Is Mario the only theme where it's digital only?
As far as I know, and I only realised that a couple of weeks ago. I didn't even know that.
Do you know what? I don't actually know. I'm not sure. I'm just going through some bits and pieces here because I've got this as well. I'm going to screen share. I'm going to main screen myself, not for any reason other than the fact that there's this banner at the bottom is cut in half for Slurpy's head off anyway. But we've got this here. Now I don't actually
Jack's
remember this. No, this is
For
Lego
juniors.
Creator.
Oh, sorry.
Lego Creator, which is before the creator, the current version of Lego Creator we have. The instructions in this are a little bit, a bit more detailed, but not much. But it was when they were trialing the idea of changing up the minifigure, I believe, because I think this was after minifigures existed. Can you see the figures?
Yeah, I have a few of them kind of ones. You couldn't take them apart.
Yeah.
The hands couldn't move.
And it was, I think these were replaced by mini dolls eventually, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, I
Mini
remember when
dolls.
it used to be just like a 2x2 block with arms coming out of it and a head.
Yeah.
Ah,
That's it.
see, that's strange because, yeah, that I see what you mean. Yeah, but there was those. I've got a picture of some of those here somewhere. But also the first version of the current minifigure we've got. I don't think I've got an instruction booklet. So there's essentially the current minifigure, but it is an old version. And I noticed on this one that they've added black lines into the pieces to make it clearer that how it's made. Rather, because there's no instructions for that. I don't even know what animal that's supposed to be. I mean, that's clearly a sheep, but they've added those black lines in.
Yellow pig, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that is. But do you remember the versions of these minifigures before they had arms? That might be. I remember those.
They still had a torso and leg
shoulder.
element. They were.
Eh?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, they're just
Like
their
nubs.
arms just kind of went in as if their arms were in there.
And they had no face prints either. It was just blank. And they did have the minifigure hat elements and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
That would have been the early to mid 70s.
Yeah, I've got a couple of those figures somewhere, but don't ask me where they are. It took me long enough to find the instruction booklet. So this is the oldest instruction booklet I got, or the oldest. And this is what I was saying to you before about. It just came with a bunch of pieces and then just gave you. I mean, this is in tatters, but just showed you. That was all the instructions for that set. Just showed you how the roof was made. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. One of us could work that out anyway. It's not complicated at all. But they would just give you examples of what else you could make with the same bricks. And that was it. I mean, we still have those now, if you think about it. You get those sets that are just a bunch of blocks and some ideas. But that was most sets at that point. Because there was no license stuff.
Those instructions have to be from the late 70s, early 80s, yeah?
I believe so, yeah.
I think they're really cool.
My earliest memory set is this castle, because I think it was about 4 or 5 when we had that, and then I was closely followed up by I've got that here somewhere as well, although somehow it's in a lot worse condition. This sort of fire station.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if I can find the front page to find out what the set number is on the fire station, but for whatever reason, I haven't got the front page.
Do you still have those pieces, minifigures, and anything like that, or?
Yeah. Got all the pieces, all the minifigures, but they're in a really sorry state. Obviously the reds. Yeah, the reds and stuff are not too bad because the red is red, but the whites are quite discolored, even though they've never been in the sun. The greys from the castle naturally are the wrong color grey now, and some of them are a bit, where I played with them outside maybe, and just putting it together back and forth a lot. These kind of what do you call it? These shutter type pieces that go down over the front of the fire station.
Yep.
Though a lot of those broke over time. But yeah, it doesn't look like. I mean, I just got a pile of my old instructions here. I ran a chance to go through it like I was hoping to before the stream and kind of take some photos rather than hold them up to the camera. But I can't see a set number on that. But I believe it would have been after the castle. So we're talking probably this 6. I think Muttley mentioned earlier, it's old when it's 3 digits, but the castle one I showed was actually 6073, and that's at mid 80s. So, but I do have some. Is what Whittakee was just saying then about the. There we go. 6382, and that was when it was Legoland as opposed to Lego City or whatever it is now. So I had this, which is the early version of, I guess, what a 4 plus would be now. And these are 3 digits, but it's called Basic. So I think Duplo was around at this point, but it's like kind of like that figure you were talking about, Martin. But the upgrade from that was this one, where it was kind of like the Fabuland type figure.
Yeah, that's an upgrade. Yeah.
So I've got the older version where it was. I'm pretty sure it's the same character. So he's got a similar kind of head where you can just turn it. It doesn't. It's not on a ball. You just turn it left and right kind of thing. But it was just a square body, like kind of thing, sort of 2 bricks high. And then this version, which is kind of, Fabuland came into their element when these figures were around. But they were like an offshoot, so they weren't like a version of the minifigure because minifigures were around at that point as well. But these, I looked up the date for this set, and I think this is 1978. So that's the oldest Lego and instructions I believe I've still got intact. But yeah, so I mean, you got a little chappy here, cat riding an elephant or a mammoth.
On an elephant, yeah.
And I remember looking at it and thinking, wow, look at that! Look how amazing that is! Look how cool that is! It's just so simple.
So very rudimentary.
Oaktown, how we doing, mate? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to everybody to the stream. Sorry, in case we didn't make it clear earlier. Thanks. Keep those comments coming. We'll address them as much as we possibly can.
Can I just say, my main grievance with modern Lego instructions? So I do remember in the early 2000s when I were to get my first Lego sets, the instructions were a lot smaller, and they were definitely not comparable to the ones you have. Like, here's 4 steps. Yeah, you don't need instructions for that. It's just.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Nowadays you get a Lego set, 300 pieces, and the booklets maybe I'll just shoot out a number, 50 pages, but some pages will literally just be 1 or 2 pieces. It's it's
sometimes
really
less, because sometimes it may show. I looked through some instruction books as well. I was doing a quickly scanning through, and then some pages might just show you to turn the set around or turn it upside down. Or whatever, which you'd like to think people have worked that out. I mean, that's even in UCS sets. So,
it's ridiculous.
So I mean, it's for me, it's frustrating that if they're trying to go down the avenue of possibly environmentally friendly, not to print on paper, I don't think it's the case. And I know this isn't paper, so there's probably some kind of glossy finish or whatever. And I know they've taken the detail out of these a lot lately. But if they're going to go down the avenue of that. It's almost like saying, right, whereas the same size set, same amount of pieces would have been 20 pages before, now it's closer to 100 pages, but it's too much paper, so we're going to stop printing on it. Do you know what I mean?
It's just that
they should make the steps more. I mean, sometimes one step is 1 brick. It's like, well, no.
Yeah, and if people want more from the instructions, then they've got the option to go digital. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why they have to make it every instruction booklet for a 4-year-old. So
I know the 4+ sets get a bad rap for literally a page with just a hand and 1 piece on it to show the kids.
Or 2 hands.
2 by 2 brick. Yeah, I give that a pass. I kind of do. But the bigger system sets where it's just, all right, here's the page. A couple of pages about turning the set around inside out, upside down, or putting on a stud or 2. It's just like, did we need that? And I've always wondered if we're talking about ink and stuff like that. I don't know if it's Mega Constructs that do this, a third-party brand, but there's some knockoff brands that will, right? They'll say step 1 will have 5 pieces, and all those pieces are colored, and then step 2, those previous pieces are all slightly faded out, and then the new pieces are highlighted. So it's almost like you kind of know where it's at, the next pieces, but also the previous steps are kind of shadowed out, almost opaque. I've always liked that idea, especially whenever it comes to like the bigger UCS sets where does this stud go again? I can't really see, because Lego does that thing where they slightly highlight the piece when it's on.
Yeah, I've seen
that's
that.
what I would recommend. I would like that, but
I've seen that in one of these booklets just now. As I was flicking through, I saw that. Probably an early version of that, if you like. But I mean, I managed to pull out, I guess, the 3. I know we're kind of, this conversation has 2 sort of segments to it. We're kind of crossing over a little bit between past and future. So the future being the reason why they're going to get rid of it potentially, and the implications of that. But the past is just kind of,
Brent's in the chat.
Nostalgia. Who?
Brent's Bricks is in the chat.
Brent, man, how we doing, mate? How we doing, mate? Thanks for joining us.
It's as easy as possible to read and understand. Fair enough for 4-year-olds and that, but maybe.
Yeah. Now, all I'm saying is if they're looking to potentially tailor the sets, the instructions, or simplify a whole process for them by making it digital. I don't know why they don't just, have it for some sets, and they don't need to simplify every set. I think the main point we were trying to make is, but yeah, you are right. I think they tried to make it as easy as possible, but I survived Lego in the 80s and 90s, and I lived to today with the instructions that I've just shown you. Brent might have missed it, but in case Brent is still knocking about, where's that example that I gave? So, just scratched it somewhere. That was the most perfect example I could find about how the set has changed between one page and another. So there you go. Let me full screen myself again, or just do that for now. So that was stage 11. And bearing in mind, we're stage 11, there's that many pieces on already. And then stage 12. Now in that one, actually, it does show, but that's quite unusual, actually. Let's do 15 and 16. So on stage 15, you've already got that many pieces, which is probably half the set. And then it just jumps to that. So looking at the 2 of them together, there's quite a lot of pieces being added there. All of that around the edge has been added on. We're talking maybe 20, 30 pieces being added, no highlighting, no telling you what pieces. Bearing in mind, these didn't come with any checklist of parts. They were all in one bag. They weren't separated. So I know what anybody who doesn't remember this probably knows, but this is kind of like a visual. And I lived to tell the tale. So it can be done. It's not impossible.
Your parents built them.
Simpler back then, though, as well, weren't they?
Yeah, my parents built them for me, though. In fairness,
Aye.
But yeah. Sorry, what did you say there, Martin?
I said they were more simpler, though. Back then, when now you've got all these strange, weird pieces.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Yeah. There's no intricate build process to these, but even if you're just talking about adding pieces to a set. And the fact that, I'm 15 stages in and I've probably already got like 100 pieces on there, I just think there's got to be somewhere in between. I think telling you which pieces, having an inventory in the book or online, whatever, is great. And making it sort of step by step, bagging it up, if you like that kind of thing. I don't follow bags. No matter how many bags are in the set, I'll empty every single one of them out. That's just the way I do it, because for nostalgia, but I just prefer it that way. But I believe in all that. It's not that I disagree with it. It's more, I just think there's somewhere in the middle where they can make it a little bit more. Let us think a little bit, because we're talking about trying to get kids off computers to be more creative. And then you're basically spoon feeding them until they're 30, 40, 50 years old. Do you know what I mean? Let's let these kids, start thinking for themselves a little bit. Just get that creative juices flowing, but also imagination. So anyway, this is the earliest version of, this is the first wave, or the second part of the first wave. So part 2 of 1999, when they released the Phantom Menace sets. So we got this, and there was quite a lot of controversy at the time for these sets, because they coloured the background to make it look like space, which works great as long as you're not using black, grey, or any of the kind of stale colours, because it was really hard to tell the difference between grey, black, brown. This was probably not the best example, but the colours aren't very true. And up against that space background, you kind of, this is, like I said, this is a bad example because the parts on this are quite clear. And this was I think this was kind of, a modern version of this, where you break the page up, you sew a couple of the pieces. This one doesn't show.
Should be like that.
Yeah, this one doesn't show the pieces, but it does show step by step how to put them together. But I remember doing one of these sets. I can't remember which it was, and there's a lot of black and grey in there, and you just couldn't tell. You couldn't see it on the background. It was almost invisible, and it was really bad. And then we progressed.
You said you got the Vulture droid from the first wave. That might have been it, because that's like all.
Yeah, don't ask me where those instructions are. These are just the ones that were closest to hand. But yeah, you're right. It would have been the same. It would have been bluish background. But I think the version I was talking about, where we really struggled, was where the space background was more like a black. And I can't remember exactly, but I got this version as well. So this is kind of somewhere in between.
Peter set.
Somewhere in between where we are there and where we are now. So the background is a lot clearer. They've got rid of that kind of space background. They've broken it down into numbered steps. They still don't show the parts on here. So that's the only thing that I think they've added since. But I think this is where we started getting numbered bags. I can't remember whether the original sets had numbered bags. But yeah. So by the time
I can't remember myself.
Yeah. So this is celebrating Lego Star Wars 10-year anniversary.
2009. I mind that wave so well.
So I think this artwork is only on this particular set because it was an anniversary set. Even though this...
all of the anniversary sets, I think, that were released that year, I should say.
Yeah. I know they did something similar for the 20th anniversary as well. But this was obviously a lot later. You're talking 2009, obviously. So, but this is kind of, they did break down some of the sections to make it a bit easier, but there's no these are the parts to use on this page, that kind of thing. So I think that's, that kind of serves as a kind of middle ground, sort of a beginning and a middle ground of Lego Star Wars in particular. But I mean, this is where I came into my element with Lego, is this kind of booklet, if you like. I'll show a space one just because space was when I really first started falling in love with Lego, because I'd had Pirates and I'd had, these basic sets, these kind of Legoland sets, or what we'd now call City. When they came out with the space sets, I was like, you know what? And at that point, obviously, I'd seen Star Wars. I knew Star Wars like the back of my hand, but there was no Lego Star Wars. But little sets like this, and these were kind of pocket money. I remember going and paying I don't know, there may be 40, 50 pieces in there tops, but I remember buying these, and they were £2-3 in a tiny little box.
Impulse buy, just...
Yeah, well, that's all I could really afford at the time, because, I was getting pocket money, but it wasn't a lot. I mean, I was getting 50 pence a week pocket money. So if I wanted this, I'd have to save up for weeks.
There used to be a team called Lego Racers.
I remember,
and they used to have similar kind of boxes.
Figures came out there, and it was amazing. I was as a kid, I was wow. I was used to the block ones, and it was
Now, this is one of the launch sets for Lego Pirates, right? When they launched, and I think that was kind of late 80s.
89.
And I remember this being, and even the paddle is red. There was no brown paddle at that point, I don't think. So they're using so the paddle's red, and you had that cheeky monkey. The chest was full of the gold. chest was full of the gold doubloonies, and this is slightly larger set. And I remember, I think I must have paid about £5 or £6 for this. Where I remember saving for weeks and resisting the temptation to get some of the smaller sets to be able to get this set. But anything bigger than this at that point was birthday or Christmas, and that was it.
Yeah.
So that was me. So of course, once Lego Star Wars came along, I was just like, amazed by it. But obviously at that point, past the point where I was, spending pocket money on, all my money then was going on, all my wages at that point, were going on beer. So
regrets.
Yeah, I mean, if I could go back now, mate, I would change that in a heartbeat and invest in Lego, I guess, a little bit earlier.
Beer and kebabs.
Beer and kebabs, yeah, Chippy Lane in Cardiff. This was one of the. I remember buying this. I mean, there's probably, apart from the gold doubloons,
I love that.
There's probably like 12 pieces there, and it cost me like, I think it was like £1.63 and a half, something like that. Because half pennies are still knocking around until the early 80s. So, but yeah.
I agree. Do you do that? Sorry, with the UCS. Did you do that with your UCS sets? Like just all 57 bags, just into a cement mixer and dump them out.
Yeah.
That's why you don't do UCS.
Yeah, I don't actually do UCS sets, right? But I do MBS. So I've got the Cantina, and while you guys are chatting, I'm going to see if I can line up the video that I put on Facebook of me dumping out all the bags, because I haven't got it on my phone anymore, but I did upload it to a group I was in on Star Wars Lego at the time. So shout out the chat and have a little look and have a little chat about what we just started talking about, and I'll see what I can find it.
It's just I do remember getting Lego sets as a kid 22 years ago that were as small as that. They used to do a theme called like Lego Racers. They were like the wee sets that you could wind back, and they had like one page of just maybe even a page and a half, but they were just maybe 20-30 pieces. Those would have been about like your kind of pocket buy.
Similar to what Tyler was on about with the new Mario sets. They reckon they should have like the pullback, get them to move.
That's why I like this here. I know the theme was kind of not well received, and the sets were kind of overpriced, but I like the stunt sets. I always like the way they did this with the bikes and stuff like that. It was 3 years ago. I don't know if that is that before you. Is this? Oh, sorry.
2022 is when I started.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Even though I've been a Star Wars fan ever since I was 8, but I've never really got into Lego until sort of 2022.
And that's like including
a few sets when I was a kid and stuff, but like the space theme and things. But I was more literally every birthday, every Christmas, it was all kind of Star Wars toys. Yeah.
Damn. Those can't. I only have one, and it's the Ewok from my. Oh God. But those I have actually a few now to think about. Do you still have some of your old Kenner figures?
No, not the original ones, unfortunately. I've still got Luke, but he's not in the. In fact, I got Luke. He's sat in my UCS land speeder because it fits. He fits perfectly in there.
Oh, nice.
With C3PO, because obviously it's not mini, it's like bigger. But no, gradually. Unfortunately, I sold a lot, and because when I needed money and things, I regret it. But
you should look about. I think Hasbro Kenner. They did the retro collection. They did the wee boxes. I have 2 of the boxes of the original. No, they're not original, obviously, but they're kind of a retelling of the old stuff. And I do think it's a Luke you're on about, where the lightsaber shoots out of his arm, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes. Yeah.
Just looking
That's
at them
quite a
now,
few,
and they are so.
Quite a few of the remakes they did in the 90s, but they all seem to be like
Buff. Aye,
Yeah.
Buff Skywalker.
They've all got,
I have a few of them, like, because I always found them so funny that they made this. Just everyone was yoked. Like Leia didn't need to be on train or anything like that. It just made.
No, I remember that as well. Yeah,
They
they were
made
all
it look
beefy,
like-
weren't they?
They made it look like Teela from He-Man.
Even
Yeah,
I know that. But
Like the clothes
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Oh Christ. Yeah, you're right there. Spot on.
What is it?
What was that about? Why can't I find anything on this bloody laptop?
It is, but he's absolutely knackered and that way. The old, the lightsaber that was stuck in their arms.
imagine thinking though at the time, this is going to be a great lightsaber. It looks like a wand.
Yeah. But 1978, it was like, wow, this is awesome. Look, it comes out, and it's, It's like I said, most they made a bit of a gamble then because most of them were like I don't know, so many inches, like Action Men and that. This was like 3 3/4.
Yeah, 3 3/4. Yeah.
It was unusual. It was and that's it. I got hooked.
I do think they're really. I have a fondness for the older one. Like, it's just simple. They're just simpler looking and they have a style. Like, my favorite is the Stormtrooper from that original wave. Even though you can't move his helmet, much like the new Lego Stormtrooper.
No, it's all
Like
molded, isn't it? So,
Padawan says the retro ones look horrible on the shagged cards. I'd agree, the cards are a little bit dicey looking for sure. I just kind of buy if I see like a good used one on eBay, I'll just buy that. But I do like the new retro ones because they're kind of cleaner and.
Because I'm sure for me, I could be wrong, but when I was getting them for 1978, 1979, I'm sure over here it was Palatoy, not Kenner.
I've heard of them, yeah. You can still buy the Palatoy carded ones on eBay. Was it just a rebranding?
I remember when Kenner brought out, because my mate got a Kenner Han Solo, and it didn't look nothing like him. He had like a blonde, weird head.
Let me look it up. Palatoy. And they would have been the same years, 1978. Yeah, these are.
Unless that was just
you're not wrong.
Which is company or something, I don't know, but
I can't get it to work, guys. We've got. This is my my fiance's laptop. She barely uses it herself, but it's not connected to. She's obviously got her Facebook on here, but she's not in the group that I'm in, and I can't log in to my account because I can't remember the last time I logged into Facebook, so I don't actually know what my details are. So I can't even log in on it. So the best I'm going to be able to do is show it on my phone, which is probably going to be pants, but we'll give it a try.
Just think you won't be saying that next year.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Your fiance?
Fiance. Yeah, no, I know. All going well. All being well, and I don't know. She may be watching, but so far we're probably getting further away from it financially than anything. But hopefully,
sorry, you're just talking about the Palatoy. I just seen Padawan talk about it, but yeah, he's not wrong. In the UK, the license to distribute Kenner was held by Palatoy, so they were still like Kenner figures, but just rebranded.
Oh right.
Some
were different.
Some of them look like they're maybe just slightly different, but I'm sure there's books and archives out there showing there's stuff here about R2D2. That's oh man, the way they used to do R2 was strange. Had that sticker on his body, like.
Yeah, I remember that peeling off quite easily as well.
Hmm.
Mine was all flaking off after a while.
So, yeah, I'm sure there is probably more than.
Why did I not buy that tie crawler? That was silly.
But
anyway, right. So let me just full screen myself a sec, guys. Try and get the best picture I can for this. No. Give me a sec. So we had a new oven. Might be an oven delivered, and it came in this kind of, you imagine the dimensions of the top and bottom of an oven, these huge sort of case type things, open cases. And I saw that shortly after I'd had my Mos Eisley bought for me, and I thought that'd look great. That'd be great as a kind of tray to put the pieces in. So that's what you can see in this picture, just about, as the kind of cardboard tray. So I'm kind of filming, my camera's inside the tray, and you could just sort of see me dumping in. I think, if I remember rightly, it was like 73 bags, including some of the smaller ones. So it's like a time lapse. So there is some. Is there any audio? I don't think there's any audio. Maybe there is, but I'm pretty sure I did put audio on it, but for some reason, anyway.
Which set was this?
Mos Eisley Cantina. The MBS. So that was me dumping all the parts. So that was it. That was it before. You see that? Yeah. That was with all the bags. Then obviously I dumped it all out. I thought I took a picture of. Yeah, I did. Took a picture of. You see, there's the tray with just the dewback sat in the middle.
That's pretty cool.
And then just the kind of all the empty bags on the floor before I made a start. And it took me 3 months chipping away at it a little bit at a time. And that was during lockdown as well. So Christ knows how long it would have taken otherwise. But yeah, I got it for my 40th. I got it for my 40th birthday. Originally, this was on the thumbnail, this picture, but I didn't have sunglasses on, so I had to get rid of it. But yeah, so had that, built it, and now it's back in pieces again in about 4 Ziploc bags. I couldn't find one big enough to get them all in. So I'm ready to make again.
Oh, sorry.
Because I moved house. I moved house twice since then, so I had to take it apart. I don't do this whole wrapping it in cling film because I'd need another van just for all my sets. But even before I was moving, I used to take them apart regularly anyway. So it's not just because of that, but just to try and save space. Every now and then I'd be like, right, these 10, they've been on for a while, take them off. I'll build another 10 over the next month or so, swap them out. And I never really had to dust them so much then either because I was swapping them out constantly. But that was the way I used to do it. But yeah, so to round that off to a point, hashtag dump all bags. So, but yeah, so, and just to quickly segue off that was in a group called, check it out. I mean, I know a lot of people don't do Facebook anymore, but that was in a group called, Mugsy lad, how we doing, mate? Nice, thanks for joining us. A group called Bantha Bricks, Fans of Lego Star Wars on Facebook. So if you get a chance to go and check it out, do so. And the guy who is the kind of owner, the main admin, the guy who kind of, well, one of the founders of the group, I guess, but it's a guy called Stephen Smith. And he's got a YouTube page, which I've blown up a few times, called Myth and the Python. So he's branched away from Lego at the moment, although he still does run that Lego Star Wars group on Facebook. But yeah, so he does a weekly podcast. He just started a couple of weeks after us. And he does kind of, talking about what we talked about earlier. He does like action figures. He's really big into G.I. Joe, He-Man, that kind of thing. But I believe he does cover some sort of Star Wars and Lego as well in there. But So if you guys get a chance, check it out. Shout out to Myth on the Python, Stephen. And I've also got him lined up as a guest at some point in the future, where we might branch away from, we will talk Star Wars and Lego, because obviously he's got a vested interest in that as well. Having one of the largest Lego Star Wars groups on Facebook. In fact, it probably is the largest, because last I checked, there was about 50k people in that group. But sorry, 34k. I got a bit carried away. But I mean, I've been part of that group for 7, 8 years now. But some great people in there. But yeah, he's agreed to come on as a guest at some point in the future, and we might sort of branch off and talk about other collectibles. So that'll be other collectibles. And he knows everything about everything. So this kind of conversation that's going on now in the chat about Kenner and all the rest of it, he'll probably know more about that than any of us. Certainly more than me. So yeah, so
what's what was the group called?
It's called Band for Bricks.
Bricks.
Fans of Lego Star Wars.
I'll join there now.
I'm not active in that group at all anymore, unfortunately, because I just don't use Facebook. But I still stay in touch with some of the guys from there, and I think I got a few of them on. Slowly started to come across on Instagram, because obviously I went by my real name in that group, so a lot of them haven't realised I'm the same person. So I mean, I think because I was so active in the group at one point, my followers, if they knew that I was on Instagram, my followers would probably double overnight. But obviously that's not why I'm in the game, so I haven't really made it clear, to be honest with you. But it's quite good. There's some, it's one of those places where it's a good source of reference if you like to talk to people rather than look things up. Because I would just be like, look, guys, I'm looking at a lot. Here's a picture of a lot someone's selling on Facebook. Can anyone see anything? And within like 10 minutes, you'd have, there's the parts there for the Venator, there's the parts there for this, there's the parts there for that.
Oh, right.
And they would always be, it would be right in, all the cases that I had experience in. So yeah, some good guys on there. But anyway, yeah, so Mugsy lad, what's going on, mate? Any news, any goss? Any embarrassing stories you want to tell us about your good mate?
No, I've got a few about him. No, JK. I'll not blast him on airwaves.
Okay, so what do we think, guys? So let's kind of round it off, unless anybody wants anything else they want to talk about. I mean, I've got, let me show you a stack here of old, because I wanted to take some photos and just show some examples, but it is probably a little bit easy just to flash them up to the camera. This is actually my brother's. I remember him having this. It's quite a cool little set. Very, very basic, but it was the first time I'd seen a vehicle that looked like a vehicle. Because prior to that, they were kind of very blocky. But yeah, some of these instruction booklets have seen better days, unfortunately. But I remember getting them. I remember this one here specifically. I don't know what the hell it was exactly, but I'll show you maybe one or two more before we close off on that topic. This. So I remember getting this for, I believe it was my birthday. I want to say my 8th birthday. It's the 6972. Let me just full screen myself again. A bit easier for everyone else. Sorry, guys, to block you out here, but 6972. It's like a space. It came with one of these base plates with the kind of craters and stuff on.
Mm-hmm.
And it had like
Free Spaceman, is it?
It had, I think it was. Oh, yeah, there was 3. I thought there was 4, but yeah, there is 3. So you can't really see it from there. But this in the middle is like a spaceship which actually lifts up out, shoots off. So it's a separate thing. And then you had these, where you can see this here, look, these things traveled up and down on these little, so you could go from here, port here, travel up to here, get in the main building, then zip across on this one to this side, and port up. A couple of little, there's 2 of these little spaceships in there, which shows the instructions how to build them. And I was just, this set was amazing. It was just, I mean, it was quite a sparse set, unlike a castle or fire station, it wasn't kind of like solid and didn't really have an interior as such. It was kind of
A good movement to it.
out. But yeah, but it had loads of sort of active parts to it. So missing the middle piece is missing from this. It's probably here in this pile somewhere, but I haven't sorted it out. But you can see there where you start to build up that sort of central piece. So it was like a little ship. It was almost like the cockpit was similar to an X-wing, where it just kind of builds up around you, and there's like a concave piece at the front, which you can kind of see just about on the top there. So you build it around the spaceman, and a bit sort of hatches down over the front, similar to how an X-wing is now. So probably took a lot of thingy from that, the way it was built, and then that kind of shot out, and then the wings opened up on it on four sides, and they were kind of this transparent red. So you can see them folded down here. I just remember I built that set over and over and over again. I just thought it was amazing. And then there's another one here, which I've got the front cover. There you go. There's the inside. So it looks like that. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, it wasn't four sides. It's just two sides. These expandable pieces. So you would sit in there, and this cockpit piece would just kind of piece over the top. Mate, it was just. I mean, even this was a little bit more developed than this must have been maybe late 80s, early 90s, I guess, because you can see there where it shows the what do you call it, the base plate with the pieces on from a bird's eye view.
Yes.
Still doesn't show the parts, but I feel like it's a little bit more. There's like 7 or 8 parts there, and as it progresses, there's only a few extra parts. I mean, it's a lot easier to see when it's on a base plate like that. But this set was just, and it did sort of. They did have these things start up here in these boxes for like a sub build within the build, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Ooh.
Deadly.
That was my finger. So yeah. So look, I mean,
you sure about that?
This has got me excited. I want to build this again now.
I can see it got you excited.
You guys talk between yourselves. I'm gonna go and build this.
Hi.
Yeah, and then
good luck trying to find them parts.
Oh, they're there somewhere, but they probably exist in other mocks now, and I've used them when I've bought sets incomplete. I would have taken parts for that, so you're probably right. Some of these main parts are probably still out there somewhere, but this bad boy, I think I got this for Christmas one year. This was a beast at the time. 6781. It's called a Space Police. I can't remember what the name of the ship was. And this is at the light up. The light brick in a light system. And at the back there, you can see this. There's a little jail cell that's attached, and you'd have the Blacktron, or what? It wasn't Blacktron at the time, but it was like the evil space guys. I think this is when they first changed up the helmets. So the helmets were a bit more like motorcycle helmets. I might be wrong. No, they are.
Sorry.
Because this is from the same series, so the helmet has changed. Sorry, go on.
Can I see that space set, the light up? There was a time when Lego, I believe they used fiber optic lights for some of their sets in the 90s. Do you know if that was that, or if it...
Well, there was a battery box.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you if it was fiber optic. You can kind of see the little bulb type things. I wouldn't know. Yeah, so these are the guys. So we had like the evil space guy and the good guy, and then they kind of had these visors that came down, which obviously the older versions never had visors. And then you had this little jail cell. Man, this
the evil guy with a very friendly face.
Yeah.
Yeah. They only all had one face at that point, but yeah, man, this set.
Wait for 2 years.
How many hero doing the badge on release date? We're still talking about. We're still reminiscing on old sets. Let's not talk about new sets. But yeah, like that's. Sorry, what?
No, I do not. It's really cool seeing all those instruction manuals. I'm someone who I can't keep anything. Boxes have to be burned or recycled, and all my instruction manuals are just recycled as well. The only stuff I would keep is just the UCS sets, or a set that I'm like the Galaxy Explorer. Like I really, really enjoyed it. Like, and it was just a fun process. But I'll
Do you have
give
the original
a bit
version?
No, I do not. I would love to on the original one.
I thought
It's
I had
weird
some-
because Classic Space is well before my time, but for some reason it's kind of like you're bored as a Lego fan. It's like just an instinct to be like, yeah, I love it. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
if I'm into Harry Potter or Friends. I think everyone's kind of like not that I am, but I think everyone just like I'm wearing the Classic Spaceman shirt. Like it's just
Yeah. No, yeah.
there's just something like, to me like uniquely Lego about it.
Well,
To
the
be
other
honest,
thing sorry, go on.
No, you carry on.
Well, I just wanted to close off with one last one that I've just dug out. And I remember these coming out when I was a teenager. And I remember I won't say I was disappointed with my parents because they let me actually build this one. But I remember getting this for like a birthday present. And I remember thinking, this isn't like normal Lego. And I remember thinking, is it Lego? Is it the right Lego? Is it the same? My parents were like, well, you're a bit old now I must have been about 11 or 12, maybe a teenager. And I remember him sort of saying, well, no, this is for Lego for older children. I was like, oh, okay. And it was something called Technic. And I believe, don't get me wrong, stop me if I'm wrong, anybody out there, but I believe this was the birth of Technic, because Technic was originally invented to be like a advanced version of just Lego. So it's next step up. So with this, you get these kind of guys, and they're kind of, they don't look it on there because it's not very good scale, but they're about 3 3/4 inch.
Mm-hmm.
They were around about the same size as a Star Wars figure. Quite long guys and hinged legs and stuff. Everything on a ball joint, so those arms could do like, probably the same movement as your own arm. Legs not so much, but the head as well. They had a larger version of what was the current Spaceman helmet at the time. Just full screen myself a bit again.
I should say, Technic, I just had to check. They've been around since 1977.
Oh wow!
But I think it went through different brandings. But
yeah. So I think Technic. This is the first time I'd heard of it, but obviously, as a kid at that time, you can't look things up online, and things like this wouldn't have been even in encyclopedias or stuff because it wasn't old enough. But I just remember that I'd never seen anything like this before. And okay, it may have existed. I don't think they made sets for adults at that point. So maybe Technic as a term refers more to like those sorts of pieces. I'm sure I remember this was the first time
they were trying to get more.
Yeah, I think this was
like teenagers and that into it.
That's it. I think this was like the Pepsi Max to Pepsi, where it was just designed to. Go on.
Also, I should say, like, I looked at some of the older Technic sets from, like, that set you have from the 90s, but I'm looking at some of the ones from the 70s, and it's the 70s and 80s one. They're just like, your standard Lego pieces with holes in them, kind of that way. Like, whereas the Technic that you have, it's those new, I don't even know how you describe it, weird discs and smaller plates and stuff like that. Like the Technic we know now, almost.
It's almost like mechanical parts. So
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So I think Technic, obviously went through different variations and just kept the same name. But like I had Technic sets, as I got a bit older. I remember getting this one. This was kind of like mid-teens. It's like a motorbike, and this kind of probably an early adaptation of what Technic is like now, because they use it to just build larger machinery, larger vehicles and stuff. But at this point, this was kind of like, an upgrade from a set. That's the first time I'd seen that minifigure. I believe they didn't last very long because I had about 3 or 4 of these sets with these little figure guys in, and I never ever saw them ever again. And I remember going to the shop at that point with my pocket money, and I was still buying the classic Lego because it didn't do it for me. It just wasn't the same. So whether they then decided, right, let's not bother with that, let's just invest in this kind of Technic instead, forget about the minifigures, let's just make it motorized, let's make it like because it's like a motorized type thing, unless aimed towards sort of young adults. I don't know. I mean, the kid in this is still you're quite a young kid, but I don't know, it's strange. But like I said, I would like to have been able to pull up some more pictures so you're not just looking at me showing you like tatty old instruction booklets. But I think the past of Lego history, just looking through what I've got, and most of you guys from your own memories, I guess, is quite a rich history for something, for a toy that exists in modern culture. But the history is quite rich, and you appreciate it from seeing the older stuff. I think more. But in terms of the future, now that we've delved in a little bit and looked through some of these old instruction booklets, I feel differently to how I did when we first started talking about it. I think I'd be quite sad. And like what you were saying, Slurpy, is I get rid of all my boxes, although it was hard to part with them when I had a big stack of them before I moved house before last. And I did get rid of them. But the instruction booklets are different, for me, they're just, I don't know, looking at them now and having them sat next to me, it feels like I own a piece of history,
It's like, the thing that they say about reading a book versus Kindle, like you can smell the pages, you can feel the ink. Like I know it's quite like it's a cliche, but I think it's true for the Lego instruction manual. Like you're turning the page over and you're looking around right up detail. The only issue I think with instruction manuals now is because Lego's color palette is so diverse. I do find it hard sometimes to struggle between we've got dark medium tam, dark nugent, and it's like I don't know. They all look the same to me now. And I can't go online because the service doesn't bloody work half the time. But that could just be a printing error more than anything. But yeah, I don't want them to go. Sorry, Martin, you were.
I was just going to say, I don't really be morbid, but the only reason why I keep my boxes and my instructions is because when I do go, my kids can sell them, for better prices because it's in the boxes and stuff. Because they're not going to keep it.
I don't know though, because to me, I did a bit of research on this a while back before I was getting rid of my sets, and as long as the set's been used and it's not sort of sealed, not still in its original bags, having the original box adds almost, and in some cases, nothing.
There is a lot of people out there that like the box. They like to have.
Yeah,
there is.
If I buy a second hand, I'd rather buy one with a box.
Yeah, see, that's
there is.
But then that means
I've specifically requested when I bought one second hand. I've specifically requested them not to send the box if it made the postage cheaper, and I've said send it in a cereal box or send it in, just in a bag. And I've never had an issue. I don't really buy second hand sets anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, it is each to their own. It is each to their own, definitely. But for me, it was like what Nimble said is space.
Like I've had I agree, Padawan. Like they do add collectability, but like the hundreds of thousands of sets I've had, it's like maybe 5 boxes I've kept because it's like nice. But I don't see. I can understand. I know Motley everything's in box too, and they are really cool, nice display pieces. But for me, it's more than it's the set. I know there's a market out there selling instruction manuals and boxes.
Yeah,
people sell boxes on eBay, don't they? It's like...
Yeah, they just the box flattened out, and it's like fine if you want to make £2, that's cool. But
no, they're selling them for like 40 odd quid. Oh shit!
Well, I don't think Lego City boxes have any collectability or like it's what the.
Sorry. How much did Ryan pay for his bleeding Cloud City box?
Yeah.
Probably too much.
Oh yeah. I think I might have maybe sort of overstated what I was trying to talk about. For me personally, when I was getting rid of my boxes, or I was in a position where I'm like, right, I can't keep all these. And bear in mind, they were flat packed even at that point. I was just like, I had so many. It was just, No, so see, boxes like that, I think you almost have to keep. But I think Padawan, what I was really referring to is because Martin had said that he's keeping his boxes so that his kids could sell the set, and I'm just saying that I've when I looked around, specifically secondhand sets, when I was not selling but buying sets, there wasn't a difference in the price of what I could buy it for with or without the box, or almost no difference. And obviously for me, from a buyer point of view, it didn't really make a difference because I didn't want to keep the box anyway. So in most cases, even if they did have the box and the price, whether the price was better or not, I would just say don't bother sending it. I get that as a personal preference. All I'm saying is that with the box, when you're buying or selling secondhand, I don't think it makes a huge difference to the price. It might make a difference to the amount of people who want to buy it. That is a completely different conversation. But in terms of the price you ask,
I mean, at the end of the day, it's their own, isn't it? It's like
it is. But that was
he doesn't
that
keep
was
any
my
boxes, but then I don't blame him and the amount of sets he's got.
no. But that was my personal experience based on the facts, and I didn't just look at one set. You're talking like probably 50, 60 sets over 5 or 6 years, and I never ever saw a markable or a difference that was worth mentioning or worth remembering. Where I was like,
oh, look, here's one from Muttley.
Oh my god,
Jesus! I mean,
right?
Does he not buy?
Here, I've got a bridge to sell him. Right, look,
yeah.
I say this right now. Like, come Christmas, that UCS barge box is going straight in the fire to light up the living room. That's there.
And then they're not even just cardboard. There's like a laminate on the outside of them, which kind of gives off a nice chemical.
You'll get about a tenner for it.
Well, this is the other thing.
That gets peeled off and thrown in the bin, like, but.
There is the market for people buying just boxes of sets that aren't sort of the UCS Cloud City as an example. I mean, I might be an extreme example, but I had the original box sent to me when I bought the original Pod Racer set, which was 3 pod racers, and it came with the boxes, and inside the one box there was the 3 separate boxes for each build. And I remember sort of sharing it in that group that I was talking about earlier, and everybody going, "Oh my god, you got the box as well! That box is worth a fortune." And I was like, "Really, is it?" And I thought, great. Everybody's saying this is, it's worth so. I can't believe you managed to get the box, and it was in really good condition. And I thought, great. I put it on sale on Marketplace, a couple of local sites, and I think eBay as well. I got 0. Didn't even get anybody interested in it. And I put it, I said, like, how much do you think it'll be worth? And they were like, oh, you'll get at least a tenner for that. And I'm like, we just said it was really hard to get. But this is the thing, see, it's what it's worth to someone in terms of having it and what it's worth to someone in terms of selling it. Because I think a lot of people, if they had a tenner in their pocket, they'd rather buy a set than an empty box. So
you have to remember,
I got nothing. And I ended up trashing it. So
there's people out there who display like on a picture frame, like boxes flattened out and poly bags, and I'll reserve all judgment at the current time for that. Yeah, I know. Like all boxes.
Like I said, each to their own.
Green Planet. Let's go.
You're right. There is so much depth. There's so much depth to this collection that everybody does things differently. People are turning their graves seeing that I open all bags to my sets, but yet most of those people don't ever remember a time where Lego wasn't separated into lots of little bags. So therefore, they got nothing to compare it to.
I don't find that unusual. Yeah.
But I've got flack for it even in that group I was telling you about. Not flack like what are you doing, and people giving me abuse, but people like what are you doing? That's just like it's just crazy to me, and I'm just like
the reason why I don't do it because of the space. I ain't got. I basically do it on a tray.
And again, so this is what I'm saying is that sometimes it comes down to convenience, time, space over preference. So if I had my way, I'd like to have all my sets on display, but it's not going to happen. I haven't got the space for it. So therefore I have to. So that is more of a convenience and ease rather than it is a preference. I've never ever said I don't want my sets on display. Same with the UCS. Don't get me wrong, there are UCS sets out there that I would love to buy, but it just, to me, it doesn't make sense because of the cost, and not just the cost in terms of how much you're spending, but the cost in terms of what are you getting for your money. And I'm not even talking about how much it's worth. I'm just talking about one big chunky set, which will take me, with the amount of free time I get, literally months and months and months, which is great for some people, but it represents a little bit of boredom as well, or 10 smaller sets, which would take me probably the same amount of time, but just give me variety and I'm the kind of guy who would always go for a cheese board over a lasagna. Simple as that. That's the best way I can describe it, because there's variety, there's lots of different things to choose from, lots of different flavors. Lasagna is every fork is exactly the same. I'm not knocking lasagna, but I like a cheese board. That's just who I am.
Right? My dad now, he used to always have a cheese board instead of a dessert, though. Like, we'd all have like ice cream and that, and he'd go, "Do you have a cheese board?"
But I'm not saying cheese board is I'm not just saying cheese board is my favorite meal either. Do you know what I mean? I'm just saying variety for me. But I think that's what it comes down to more than anything else. But yeah, this box
pamphlets to cheese.
Yeah, and this is why I said that I wanted it to just flow a little bit more naturally. And obviously we're interacting with the chat here, which is what we should be doing more of. So,
come on, I think I've told you before, like, the majority of the Lego sets I've ever had are dismantled, in the bin, sorted for mocking. That's what it is like for me. Like, I rarely keep that many like this guy and like the odd Lego set. Like, to me, it's like, right, there's the first experience of the box, the set itself, admiring the design and all that. Then after a couple of months, it's like, I can use these parts for my own builds. And even UCS sets, it's like, there is going to be a time where I'm going to dismantle them. It's like, don't get me wrong, cool, but I've got better ideas with all those sand pieces from the sand speeder. Oh yeah, it's gonna.
Yeah, see.
Oh yeah,
see, this is where
for me though.
This is where I'm kind of half on.
Buy a load of loose Lego for that.
Yeah, I'm half on board and half not on board with this, because if I had a set like that, Sand Speeder, Mos Eisley Canteen, I couldn't dream, or even a set sort of, let's say, any of these sets I've just shown, these Star Wars sets, right? I couldn't imagine, for the nostalgia, Mos Eisley because of the size and the cost probably of the pieces if I do change my mind. This because of nostalgia, because it's just a great set in general. And Vader's Castle because kind of, quite a large set. Couldn't dream. It would give me nightmares and anxiety to think about taking those apart for parts. But I have done it with sets that I'm like, put it together once, built it, took it apart. And when I was taking it apart, I just thought it wasn't a great set. Not, particularly fond of it. And I've used it for something else. So Darth Maul's Sith Infiltrator, I think I've got the original version, never built. But I think the second or the third variation, maybe the second variation, where the wing part that expands out is just one big piece. There's 4 of those, not rather than brick built. And it was...
Slurpy, for an example then, right? Would you spend £734 on an AT-AT and then go, I'm going to take it apart and use it for other things?
Yeah.
Hey, my Millennium Falcon's in the bin.
Oh, what?
No, I don't. No. For me, I would.
Send it to me.
I have a limit. I have a limit on how much a person would spend.
Right.
Yeah.
But just say
I'm kind of like I'm like Cool Hand. Like, I prefer the smaller sets, more variety. Like those big, like that X-wing.
That's better.
No, I think, look, for me, my I would love the Millennium Falcon, and for me that would be a pure display piece in a coffee table in the living room. Like, that's what that would be like. The AT-AT, like, that'd be great. I just don't have space for that, and plus I don't want dogs knocking it over or anything like that. Like, where am I supposed to put it at? On a shelf in my room? I don't even have any room in my room. Like, do you have it or?
No, and I kept saying I'm going to save up, and of course this year I can't save up because I'm saving up for Chicago. And what's happening? It's bloody retiring. I am.
What if I
off?
Slurpy needs to go to therapy.
It's my birthday on the 12th. If anyone.
Hey, look, we'll stop to do a quick shout out to Slurpy, whose birthday I missed because it was the day before the last stream, and I wrote it down in my notes and I completely forgot about it. So Pembroke, happy Slurpy, happy birthday, Slurpy, for the last stream. So you're talking like 2 weeks and a day ago,
half a month ago.
Oh yeah. And then Whittakee, when did you say yours is?
Well, mine's the 12th, so not this Saturday, coming next Saturday.
So that's closer to the next stream then.
Yeah.
So we'll forget about it in the next stream. But no, Penrith Happiness, mate. Are you able to share how many times you've passed 20?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I will be 56.
56. Wow.
Oh, ratting. I just turned 26.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah. So Penrith Happiness.
Similar age. That's spice, really.
I was going to say.
Am I kind of in the middle?
Twins.
No, I would think I'm in the middle. I'm still closer to you, I think, Whittakee. So
yeah, slightly, I think.
I've hit double digits for the 4th time this year. I'm in the big 4-4.
Ooh.
Tell you, I feel like 64 though. But to go back to what we were saying, I had no qualms whatsoever of taking this apart. Loved the set at the time. Thought it was amazing. No qualms whatsoever about taking this apart and putting it back into the bin. And when I say the bin, I don't mean the trash. I'm using the same that Slurpy did, because we had a big vat or a bin full of Lego. Because it was just uncomprehendable to take this apart, reverse engineer it. I was not even reverse engineer it because it was all in one bag. Take this apart, put it in a baggie. It just wasn't done. Anybody who had Lego, whoever you spoke to in your street, in your local youth club or in school, when they built a set, they took it apart and built something else, and then maybe down the line they would build this set again with instructions. That was normal.
I think when you're a kid, you get a set and you go, "Oh, I can build this, and I want to make." I mean, which is what it's about.
And I think
that's
because I've got a longer history with Lego. Still got a longer history with Lego as a child than I have as an adult. So for me, some of the influence of how I approach Lego now is based on that. So this goes back to what I was saying, is that was quite a large set for the time. And don't get me wrong, if I was to buy a large set now, or someone was to buy a large set for me, I wouldn't dream of taking that apart and put into, and I wouldn't even do it, like I said, with the smaller sets. But I have had sets like this that I've built, not this one specifically, that I've built even now and gone, no, I feel like I can make something else out of that. But I haven't taken it apart and put it into a bin either. It's just kind of, I put it to one side and say, I can make a mock from this. And I have done. And I haven't missed those sets at all, so.
That's going to be my job. Supposed to talk to myself.
Yeah.
Ratting.
How can you
it's
prefer?
Controversial.
I forgot to scroll down on the comments.
Talk to myself.
To be honest, I think people don't realize the amount of Lego variety. Yeah. Sorry. How can you prefer a cheese board over lasagna? Mate, like I said, it's variety. I'm not saying I don't like lasagna, though. If it's flavor versus flavor, I do prefer lasagna. But I'm just saying, this is the analogy I was trying to make, is that I always prefer variety over the same of something.
Because cheese boards are normally dessert, aren't they, for after? So you can have your lasagna and cheese board.
Well, yeah, it was probably a bad example, but that's basically what I was trying to get to, is that for me, what else can I do with it in that case? And I don't know. We've talked quite a lot of different things. I don't think we've really kind of ended any conversation with a kind of moral point, but what do you want to talk about next?
That's what you mean, variety.
Yeah, I just love variety.
Yeah.
Right. We can't go an episode without Mighty Croc-talk. So I've started slowly. This is going to be a small segment. Right, he's gone.
He's just.
I'll just replace it. I'll just replace him with a big picture of a croc. I've done no research for this whatsoever, guys, because this is completely shooting off the hip. But Lego Star Wars Jizz Bits do exist.
Lucky I didn't get rid of this today when you
they
asked
do.
me to set it up.
They do. Not official, I should say. Sorry, not officially, but you can get some. I put one in the thumbnail of Anakin Skywalker, which I found on a website. So if anybody likes Crocs or is going to this brick world with their Crocs, shout out to you, Padawan. You're going in your Crocs. You can get Lego Star Wars Jizz Bits. So so yeah, that's the end of that conversation. Unless anybody wants to chime in.
You're not wrong. you can get a whole bunch of characters as gibbets, jizbits. That is the.
Probably get jizz probably.
Yeah. Or jizz bits.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I had a look. Sorry, Martin. You like this is a tangent here. The space set you showed had the elevated base plate, and I was curious. Like Lego don't do them anymore, but I think the last elevated base plate they do was for the theme Pharaoh's Quest back in 2010, 2011. But they used to be.
Talking to me.
Yeah, I've got as well.
Oh, the base plate, but it's that crater. It's like raised. It's like it's all one piece, but it's like I don't know if Lego
still got that.
If they do vacuum forming for that. I don't know if you flip it around, is it hollow or is it still flat? But
I think it's solid.
It is, yeah.
It is because I remember seeing that. It might not be the exact same one, but a version of that base plate where there was some builds, because this a circular Lego piece fits in there perfectly in the crater. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure I remember seeing builds where there was something. Obviously, it wasn't anything that was supposed to stay in there, but there was like a little dome piece in there. In some cases, it's not the best picture, but. So I think it was solid because obviously if it'd been hollow, it wouldn't have had the stability there if you kind of pushed down on it or whatever. But I'm pretty sure it's solid. Remind me for next stream and I'll dig it out because I got a couple of those old base plates knocking about somewhere. I got the one from the fire engine as well, but it's a bit warped, I think. So, but yeah. So, did you pick a stop mo? I did look to see if you replied.
A bit too long, I think, to play. Like over 8 minutes. Yeah. I do want to get. I do want to try get onto the project we've talked about. Maybe even showcase a little bit of that every couple of weeks, even though it is only going to be 10 seconds. But
should we just instead of sort of robbing you of your day in the sun?
It'd be okay.
No, I was going to say, why don't we just talk a little bit about that instead?
Yeah.
It still comes under the same banner. So what I've asked Slurpy to do, I don't even know whether you know about this, Whittakee. Did we mention this? Because this is before we had the group chat.
To do with the StreamYard thing in the corner.
Not to do with the duck himself, no. But basically, what we want to do is, when you're using the free version of StreamYard, which which is why we got that goofy-looking duck up in the corner, which I thought the S were his eyes for a long time, until I realised those were headphones and he has actually got eyes. But I thought for a while,
replaced it, didn't you, with like one of his animations? Is that?
Yeah, well, no, you can replace that, but because what I was trying to say is, I must have explained it, but obviously explained it badly. But it's a story of my life. But essentially, if you're using the free version, you're limited to what you can do with StreamYard. But one of the things you can do is upload your own countdown, and they give you, for anybody who's not familiar with StreamYard, they give you a couple of different versions of the countdown. Which, when I'm watching other people's, I kind of see the same one, and it just kind of makes me feel like, because I like to be. I know doing a podcast, or not a podcast, a chat show on YouTube isn't original. So, don't quote me on that exactly. But I like to try and be as original as I can and not copy too much stuff. So it'd be nice to do something as a different countdown. I played with a couple of different ideas. And before I realized, why don't we do a stop motion countdown? And it wouldn't be from 30 because I think that's a bit, Slurpy would have to give up his life. But if we can do from 10 or even from 5, Christ, I'd be happy with 3. Of some Star Wars. There we are. So we're going to do from 10. So look, I don't want to steal a thunder, mate. Tell us, where are we up to? What are we looking at? What's the ideas? Have we got anything visual we can see now, or
nothing visual, nothing yet? But it is going to be a 10-second, and I do want each second to be like a different scene. I do think that's going to be quite like sore on the eyes almost. It's like 1, like 10 Star Wars, 9 Pirates, 8 Harry Potter. Like, what the hell's happening here? So I might still play around, but I want it to be like each digit is like a different style or color a little bit. I want to kind of copy I say this and I don't have really any boxes. I'm looking at a battle pack, but I don't think they have it. You know how... No, they don't have it on this, but you know how like some of the big Lego sets have like a pattern on the side where it's like pieces, like studs, handlebars, hair pieces. It's a... I want to do like that with the numbers as opposed to just generic, 2x4, 2x2, 2x2 to make a 1, just to play around with it. But I'm still playing around with the idea if I want to have like a fuse going off as the countdown goes down and then it explodes. It's like that makes no sense.
Oh, but is the fuse going across the bottom of the page?
Yeah, like I think that would make. You know what? I'll do that then. I'll do that. that actually, and we'll do. You know how they do the dopey, like Lego man walking. We'll just do like a Lego, like just walking with a. Like I do have the wee dynamite pieces. No, you know what? I'm gonna throw that in. That's actually that's fantastic. That like, it'll have to be longer than 10 seconds though, so you get the, explosion or whatever. But I'm fine with that. But I can play around with it.
Yeah, well, there we go, guys. So you heard it here first. We're going to have, and hopefully now nobody rips off that idea in the time. But we know it's a slow process. Wallace and Gromit took about 15 years to make. But so we're going to have, hopefully at some point in the future, no pressure, but a countdown in sort of, we're going to have to try and do something to make sure that it stays copyrighted or whatever. I don't know how that works, but I don't have a countdown for you guys, and I know that's only going to be the first 10 seconds of a stream, but I don't know, I'm looking forward to it, and I think it's a cracking opportunity for Slurpy to sort of work his magic and make something original for us. So I appreciate that in advance, and obviously if anything changes, mate, I know I've kind of put you on the spot now by announcing it to our 7 viewers. I don't think people are going to turn up at your door with pitchforks if it doesn't happen. Life comes first. So
I don't want it to be like I'll get it done this week because I know.
No.
I don't shoot. I used to shoot in 24s on 2, so on technical terms, you've got 24 frames in a second, but every 2 frames is unique. I thought, right, I'll cut that out for the stuff I do. I would shoot at 12 frames per second. So I kind of know at this, I'm looking at a minimum of 120 photos. That's not including the aftermath of welcome to Cool Hang, look, or explosions. It could be an extra few seconds. I'll play around with that. Also the set building and all too. But I do want to get the numbers and all sorted beforehand. I don't want to, right, I've got my Star Wars scene now. I need to make it 6.
Right.
And pick my nose for half an hour when I'm trying to build it out of lightsaber handles or bars of gut. I wanted to kind of just, but that idea now, I wanted to do dynamite, but I was like, I didn't know how to do it. I wanted to have a wee culprit running around the screen and all, but I'm like, no, that is perfect. The going across, because I always just find that so, I'm nearly there. I'm nearly done this 4+ set,
Yeah. And obviously, we certainly didn't have that back in the day, so you wouldn't know you were finished until you got to piece 568 and page 3.
Oh, my nightmare!
Whichever came first.
I'm looking forward to it. I do want to put a good bit of work into it, and I'll obviously show it to you first, and debut it here, and then if I need to license it out to other podcasts. There'll be none of that.
Whittakee, will you do me a favour, mate? Will you swap me for Slurpy? Do you know why? Because I'm all about the round table. I'm all about the round table, but I'm just conscious of the fact that these banners keep covering his face, and it seems to be always when he's talking. Yeah. So I'd rather it be over me, because now I just kind of look.
Thanks, CJ. Yeah.
Subversive.
Good night.
Thanks for popping in.
Yeah.
Crimson
night, mate. I think we might have missed him a couple of minutes ago, but right. Thanks, Padawan.
Oh, and Nimble, he's off to bed. They're all off to bed.
Yeah, it's everybody's. So what does this one say? The fellas catch up with the rest tomorrow. Great stream with chaps. Enjoy it. Take care. Thanks, Nimble. And I'll just give a quick shout out to. I'll always give a shout out to Padawan. I know he's probably gone by now, but Padawan, the man, representing the UK boys in 3 streams now on ACOB. So amazing. Really proud. But that stream he did last with Brent was absolute fire. Yeah, it was a heater of a stream, but we won't talk too much about that because I know that's been said. I think that's been no, that was before our last stream, I believe. So
yeah,
we may have already talked about it. But another shout out I want to just give to Nimble. Hopefully catch him before he goes. Nimble, I know you kind of put a comment in the UK boys chat and you've been away for a minute, but mate, you just need to understand we are all the Jedi, right? So you are all the Jedi. So, if you have to take time away, mate, no matter what the reason is, just do it. Certainly don't come back with apologies. I mean, if it gets to a point, people start reaching out to you, which, is a good thing, obviously, but to know there's people there looking after you or looking out for you. But no, you do you. Life is first. And you don't need me to tell you this, obviously, but life comes first. And I did the same thing. The only difference is I didn't come back and say, sorry, I've been away, guys. I just had to take a break. And I kind of sporadically looked at Instagram, but didn't interact at all. That was one of the main reasons that the thumbnail was later this time around. But yeah, you just got to do it sometimes. Everybody needs it. Everybody needs that time.
Yeah,
so
I've done the opposite. I've leaned more into doing this.
Yeah, I think you do have, off and off, on and off the gas sometimes. I think
for sure.
Yeah. I feel like it's healthy to take a break now and then, just like with anything, And like I said, I don't need to be the person saying this. I'm not like on a soapbox or anything. So, but yeah. So where do we want to go next, guys? Let's. Anybody else want to pick the next topic?
Can I mentioned to you about APs and Lego themes. Yeah. Now, it's just a stark contrast to 10 years ago and 20 years ago on the amount of Lego themes that are APs. Now, I should say APs don't make up the majority of Lego's themes, but it's interesting to see the increase. We kind of know why. It makes easy money for Lego. A Marvel set's, a Marvel Iron Man versus Thanos number 4 is going to sell better than, a Lego picnic set in the city theme. But I was just, I kind of was crunching some numbers just before, the amount of themes Lego has. And I just decided, just for brevity, to do 2004, 2014, and 2024. And I have omitted, there's a few themes I've omitted from each year. So, and those are if you go to, and this is according to Brickset, and I've removed gear, books, ideas, icons, promotional, and seasonal, mainly because there's a lot of overlap between original Lego sets and also, with icons and ideas, you get one-off AP themes, if that makes sense. The Jaws set isn't necessarily its own theme, and then books as well. You get Star Wars books, you get and Lego City books. But I went through it and I looked at 2004 had 26 Lego themes, and only 3 of them were AP, and that was Harry Potter, Star Wars, and Spider-Man.
Wow.
In 2014,
Spider-Man.
There was 30 themes. Yeah.
Not even Marvel.
No, it's just Spider-Man.
Oh, sorry, of course.
No,
this would have been before, right? Yeah, of course.
2014, there was 30 Lego themes. And 8 were AP themes.
30.
DC, 14.
14.
I just decided to go 10 years.
Yeah.
No, but I meant, sorry, how many did you say there was in 2014?
There was 30 Lego themes, and that's not including books, gears, ideas, promotional, and seasonal. And there is, of those 30 themes, 8 of them are dedicated AP themes. DC, Disney, Marvel, Minecraft, Star Wars, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Hobbit, Simpsons. Simpsons has a bit of an asterisk beside it. There's only one set that year. And I'm like, that could have been kind of a promotional icons, but that was before icons. And I also didn't include the Lego movie. Now, the Lego movie is Lego's own IP, but it was something more than, you know, it's kind of blends the lines. Would have said, no, that's I'll not throw that in because it's not Lego purchasing the rights to another theme. And then 2024.
Was that 2014? The Lego movie came out. It wasn't that long ago, was it?
It was February of 2014.
Jesus. Anyway, sorry, go ahead, yeah.
And then in 2024, there's 35 sets, again, omitting all that other stuff. And of those 35 sets, 15 were dedicated IP themes. Animal Crossing, DC, Despicable Me, Disney, Fortnite, Harry Potter, Jurassic World, Marvel, Minecraft, Sonic, Star Wars, Super Mario, Zelda, Wednesday, and Wicked. And when I look at that list, it's like when I go into like an Asda or a Toy Master, it's like that's what I see is that the majority of it is like that kind of, you know, IPs. Look, they make easy money for Lego. People can identify with what they've already known. And it's not like a knock on. I hate IPs. Like, look, one of my favorite themes is Star Wars, and it's the definition of what I could make so much money for them. But like 15 themes now, and I didn't check 2023 or 2022. I'm sure it goes up and down. Like 2004 had 3 IP themes. Maybe the year before had 2. Maybe the year after had 6. Like I'm sure it goes up and down quite a lot.
And I was almost Zelda, or was that just a one-off set?
That's a one-off set. Again, an asterisk beside it, like The Simpsons, because it wasn't an icon set, but it's labeled as its own theme.
So they had a minifigure line, didn't they? A minifigure series, and there was 2 sets eventually because we had the Quickie Mart and the house.
That's true. Oh, and that's the thing. I didn't include, like, there's so much, like, kind of, you know, this. What about the collectible minifigures? Like, there's 30 or 40 series of them, but a third of them's IP almost. I'm being very generous with that. And what about the art sets? Like, that's its own theme. But the art sets are, a lot of them sway into IP themes and recreations of art, as well as architectures based on real life buildings, so it doesn't really count. But it's just interesting, and also I kind of wrote down the amount of sets each year. So in 2024 there was 808 sets. 2014 surprised me. There's 763. I thought there would be a lot less.
Yeah.
2004 had 423 sets, and that should say that. Now we all know like Lego sets are like there's like a weird distinction. That's anything from your UCS Falcon to your Batman toothbrush with the Lego logo on it. Like you know, it's like Lego's like the kiss of like toy marketing. Like they'll slap their logo on and it's a product, you know. But it's not. I don't mind this to be like I hate themes. It's just when I grew up in that mid 2000s era, it was a lot of the stuff I connected to would have been the original themes like Power Miners, Aqua Raiders, even Lego's own Pirates Castle and Space. No, they would do the revamped ones. They did Space Police and, you know, a kind of a different era of pirates.
So to generalize then, well, not just to generalize, sorry, but to your last point, are you suggesting then that it isn't so much frustration with too many IPs, but a lack of originality in sets?
That too, and I think it just shows.
So if there was 30 IPs out of 60 sets, 30 of them were IPs and the other 30 were original sets, would that be something you feel was... So there's still a lot of IPs, but it makes up half or less than half or whatever.
Like
of the...
There's Lego still going to do their flagship in-house set themes like Technic, Speed Champions, city creator and architecture and friends. Now I should say, is Gabby's Dollhouse a Lego theme or is it an IP? I don't know if it's
an IP. It's a kiddies TV show.
But is it a Lego show or is it a outside?
No, it exists. Is normal. It's a DreamWorks production, so it's.
I didn't know.
We sell a lot of the Gabby's Dollhouse products in my shop, but non-Lego versions. Although I think we have got a Lego activity book as well, but it's all normal. So yeah.
So that's 16 IP themes instead of 15 this year. I wasn't too sure. I didn't really. It's friends. I don't really kind of focus too much on it.
And I question things like Dungeons and Dragons, because although that's based on an IP essentially, they're all still original because they've kind of had a bit of creative license with those characters. Am I wrong there? Or so, for example, Simpsons. If they were making Simpsons, it would have to look like Homer.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Dungeons and Dragons, I think they've just kind of roughly based it on characters that appear in Dungeons and Dragons. Am I right or no?
I can't comment. I'm not too in tune with the D&D universe and designs, but it very well could be.
Yeah, Sam. Oh, yeah. He's right. I don't remember seeing sets for. I don't ever remember seeing sets for Spider-Man until Marvel was around. So that's kind of, I don't remember seeing anything from that. Although again, I wasn't into Lego at that point. So, but the rest of them I do remember sort of seeing knocking about. But anyway, yeah, strange. So, do we have that information as percentages over those three sort of?
No, I thought like if I had more time, I wish I could break down the number of sets that were licensed as opposed to just themes, because it kind of sways well in my favor. Like you see 16 themes there. Star Wars probably has 40 sets a year. Now that's including UCS, magazine, toothbrush, or whatever crap. Whereas Wednesday and Wicked only have maybe 2 or 3 sets, and Zelda 1. But I still, if I had more time, I would like to. I might do it for the next stream.
Well, no, I just if you look at those 3 dates that you gave us, or 3 years, over the 2 decades, and then look at the percentage of IPs versus actual, just give it kind of spitball it. Like, what's the? Is it like, what would you say it was? 8 out of 30? I mean, you don't have to work it out, but
when you think about it, like this year, 35 themes, 16 dedicated IP. You're talking a little under a half.
Yeah, it's about 45%ish, isn't it? Yeah. And then, because obviously I got lost in figures, and I'm not a big figures person myself. So how does that work? What was the 2014?
2014 had 30 sets and 8 dedicated IP themes, so just under a third.
And then the first one was
2004, 26 sets and had 3 IP themes. So
right, so it is progressively increasing to the point where there may not be any original sets of actually at that current trajectory.
I should say, like, if I had more time, I would have done maybe every 5 years instead. Like, because I do, it is cherry picked to be like, right, just for handiness for 2024, we'll go back 10. And I thought I'm not even going to hit 1994 because I know there would be 0 IP themes. I don't think Lego's first IP was Star Wars. And if they ever did any, in my mind, sets based off films before that era, it probably would have been maybe referenced as opposed to a full-on like theme or set.
Yeah, no, that's true. Well, it's funny actually because
some years you've had Indiana Jones as well, haven't you? So
yeah. I should say it is.
And Avatar. Avatar's out now, isn't it? You get sets for Avatar. So.
That's what I mean. Like this is just the release sets from this year, but if you add the IPs from last year, I'm sure that goes up to over 20. Because Lego does have a habit, I should say, been doing it now, and they've been doing it since I was a kid. An IP theme for just one wave, like Prince of Persia in 2010, Indiana Jones last year, like, and I'm sure Wednesday
Tron.
And Wicked and Tron, like it's just like a one-off one.
Yeah, but I think the problem is because it's like a constantly flowing, and you've got new sets coming out, current sets, real time. It's impossible to get a kind of accurate depiction of it. You can only do what you did and just base it on the amount of sets released at that point. But it could be that, let's say it's 35% of sets released that year, but there could have already been, some on the shelves which hadn't retired.
Yeah.
And, it could have gone up as high as maybe 60 or 70% at any given time, that were in the shops. Because I know I go into a Lego store and it is kind of riddled with IP in terms of, and I can't say that I've seen a distinction in that changing over the years because I haven't been into I haven't been into it long enough.
Yeah.
I don't think there was even a Lego store in Cardiff or local to me prior to that anyway. So it's hard to say, but definitely interesting.
Because, for example, if they never done Star Wars, I wouldn't be sat here now. I wouldn't be into Lego.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they, somebody who might not like Lego, but suddenly they like Harry Potter, and say, "Oh, look at I can get the castle, and I can do," So I can see why they do it.
It's absolutely perfect though. And why they do it, they bring them into the hobby, and even like outside of IPs, like some of the most popular Lego sets now are, and it blows my mind. You just look at the Amazon sale data; it's the flowers. It's those just. The pair of roots, they just do so well. Like they'll outshine any Boxabois. You see a Boxabois on sale, and it's like no.
Story. I was in Smith's today looking at something, and there was like 3 sort of elderly ladies and a couple of young ones, and they were walking out, and suddenly they were like, "Ooh, look at those! Oh, aren't they nice? Ooh, they look real." Like,
but
that little giggle.
I think that it's kind of weird though, because
your Sally would like that.
You should have interviewed him there and then, mate, for the show.
I never thought of that. They probably thought I was something like trying to chat him up or something.
Oh well, may as well. It can't hurt. But I think in terms of going off the point slightly, those botanical sets, I do think they're pretty cool. I specifically like the cactus or the cacti, but I just, in terms of sets being not appealing to rebuild, all the sets I've built, I'm like, I can't wait to build that again sometime, or have done. I'm looking at those and thinking, I don't know why, but I just look at them and think, I wouldn't want to ever rebuild those. And it's kind of limited to what you could do with those parts. But I guess, people keep those kind of things up. But it kind of goes off what Lego's trying to do in terms of, you're basically replacing real plants with plastic bricks, and it's just like, what direction are we going in here? Make a decision.
Well, I don't know if
they won't die.
I know, but it's like have you ever heard that song? What's it called? Tracy Chapman's song. Pull down the trees, put them in a tree museum, and build a car park.
It's a bit like that film called Lorax.
Yeah. It's kind of
sell air in a bottle.
I don't know if Lego still does it, but Lego a couple of years ago announced that I don't know. I actually don't have enough botanical sets to know this, but in your Lego cities and your Lego Harry Potters, they'll sell tree and flower elements, just the green pieces. I remember them announcing that those pieces would be made of biodegradable whatever, and it caused an uproar of people because it's like, on one hand you've got people who are like, oh damn, 50 years time my Lego's going to be all molded, and then you've got the resellers being like, oh. But I don't know if that's still a thing. But I remember it being wildly pushed that these pieces are going to be biodegradable, as if people just throw out their Lego daffodils out the window,
plant them in the garden instead. Chuck them in the composter.
I don't know if they still do it, but you're talking COVID times, maybe even slightly after.
I think that might be along with the other kind of the talks of getting rid of the leaflets. Where I think they kind of spread this kind of worldly. I'm not against Lego at all. Don't get me wrong, and it's not like trying to spread like what do you call them? tinfoil hat theories or anything, but I feel like sometimes they got this kind of worldly vibe and they spread those kind of things just to try and make it look as if they're doing the right thing, and then it just kind of gets forgotten about, you know.
Like,
so
look, how long did it take them to do? We still don't have paper bags. I still have not seen a paper bag in my life, and it's been talked about for years at this stage. Well, Cooper, look, I'm saying this right now, the Lego green pieces, they all taste the same to me. Like, there's no difference yet, you know. There's no.
Judge Britton, thanks for popping in, mate. I know you were only popping in for 2 minutes. I really appreciate you popping in to say hello. Hopefully, you catch us on the replay. But UK boys in the house, and Cooper as well. Thanks, mate, for popping in to say hello. We're currently talking about. I don't even know how we got onto the botanical sets and chatting about old ladies in Smiths. But,
well, we're talking about different sets, weren't we? IPs and.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, let's get because I had a point I was going to make, and it kind of got lost, I think. But I think for me is that in terms of I'm kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, similar to like what we talked about earlier, because like looking back at some of these old sets and thinking, wow, these are like obviously not to the point where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go and dig out and I'm going to rebuild that. But just remembering what that felt like at the time, getting that, building it, rebuilding it, you know, having a space scene. But it was like belonged to Lego, you know, it was Lego's thing. And there was a lot more imagination involved in that because I wasn't following what they do on the TV show. I wasn't trying to do what the characters do in the movie. Do you see what I mean? It was all you. It was all your imagination. They just gave you the crayons to do it with, if you like. And that's where I come from nostalgia-wise. However, I would never dream of, as an adult, I wouldn't dream of buying a set. So my point I'm trying to make is that I think the increase in IPs, not all of them, obviously we're talking about, Gabby's Dollhouse, but I think the increase in IPs versus original themes has grown with the adults developing into because a lot of these sets, you know, things like Marvel, Indiana Jones, you know, Lord of the Rings, some of those sets, you know, Lord of the Rings in particular, a majority of them are for adults anyway. So I think they're tailoring to them now, and that's why I don't think they'll ever fade them out. But I think if you go to a Lego store at any given time, a cross-section of time, because you got to think about school, but let's go in on a Saturday, for example, and at any given time you go into that Lego store, you'll see as many adults in there as you will kids. Sorry, you'll see more adults than you will kids, because some of the kids are with adults. But what I'm saying is that in terms of purchasing for themselves, and obviously it's impossible to know because some adults could be purchasing for kids. No kids are purchasing for adults, I guess. But I go into that store and I don't think of it as a kid's store. Whenever I go in there, and always have, I've always thought of it as a store that sells stuff for all ages. And I don't ever remember going in there and being like, kids, or out the way, and I even gone in there with my own daughter through most of her life into that same Lego store or any Lego store. And it's always been, without it sounding awful, it's always been about me. We've gone into stores for her and it's been about her. And we've gone into, like, I don't know, shops that my fiance is interested in and it's about her. Like the Disney store, for example, was more about her and my daughter. And Lego was about me. Do you see what I mean? So it's almost like, I feel like that's a store that I would pick to go and shop in, and my daughter would take it or leave it, even though she likes Lego as well. So I guess what I'm trying to say there is that I see it as an adult store that sells kids toys as well, rather than the other way around. And I think that's where the IPs are building. The more people get into it.
I would love to know the breakdown of, because any Lego store I've been to, they've been the smaller one where it's like, it just seems like a kitchen almost, like it's very small. And one side is IPs and the other side's originals.
All right.
Like it's like two walls, you know, it really of sets. Like the one I've been to, the one in London where it's an up and downstairs, and it's fantastic. Like it seems like everywhere you bump your foot into, it's like, what's this Lego set doing down here? But the one I've been to in, like, you know, California and stuff, it's like the right when you walk in, it's just like 4 walls. The entrance is the display. Right side would be kind of mostly IPs. Left side would be your original themes, and then the back wall would have been pick a brick.
Right.
And then you would have the units in the middle. I feel like if you take a kid in there, it's like, all right, you go build a figure while I pontificate what set to buy. Like, I do get that vibe going into the Lego store. It does seem to be quite adult, even though they do stuff for children, like play days and building events and stuff like that too. But
yeah.
I don't mean like the catering to adults. Like, it's not like me being an old man, like go back to the old days. I just liked Lego's originality a lot more, like the chances they took with themes that you knew they took a chance because they only lasted a wave or two. Like, but I know like an original theme that's been kind of lambasted has been Dreams, and to me Dreams is like, no, that's the wrong. It just doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
And I do buy. I say
Well,
I
as a kid,
buy.
I'd be the opposite. I look at that thinking, if I was a kid, I'd quite like that.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, and I thought the same about Hidden Side as well when it came out. I was actually not to the point where I'd buy it, but I just thought that is creative, and I like the idea behind that.
I get that vibe with Monkey Kid and Hidden Side as well. Dreams didn't connect with me as much.
No, I think for me, I wanted my daughter to get into Dreams because it's got that kind of fantasy type feel, but it kind of links into a little bit. It reminds me of like some of the modern computer gaming. It's a bit kind of Star Wars-y meets Dungeons and Dragons-y. I don't know, and I would have loved that as a kid. But no, I think I feel like it's almost like Lego are trying to future-proof the business, and people spend more of their life as an adult than they do as a kid. So naturally, there's always going to be, and as time goes by, there's always going to be more people who are Lego played with Lego and had a history with Lego, whether it be as a kid themselves, as a teenager, as an adult with kids, an adult without kids, as a grandparent. Most of that time span is as an adult, and so people are going to get back into it. But I think the difference is now to Lego in my era, and probably in Whittakee's era as well, is that people are staying in the hobby as they get older because they can. There's no gap. I mean, I don't think there wasn't any adult sets really when I was a kid, but in the space where I'd gotten out of Lego because I'd grown out of it, in terms of what they supplied, not because of me getting bored with it, because it's just they didn't do anything for anything beyond sort of 12, 13-year-old, and them starting to launch Lego that I could relate to, which was Star Wars. There was a big gap between then and when they started doing sets for adults, which is even longer than that gap that I was out of Lego, if you like. But they've closed that gap now, so that kids can not only have Lego they could be interested in through the eras right up until they're adult and then beyond. But obviously, there's as they're moving forward in time, they're bringing these kids with them without anybody dropping out. So naturally, as we go into the future and more IPs, I think they just have to, they are going to start disappearing. But the thing is that it's the creativity on both sides. It's the creativity of the kids, but it's the creativity of Lego as well, because they're thinking to themselves, well, I've got two choices. I can either build something that everybody knows, loves already, and is already on board with, or I can try and make something myself, and it's a gamble. And that's a big risk. That's a big risk for a company. So
I just think
it's almost lazy, isn't it? So
I just think like I know a lot of people have like issues with the post 2020 era of Lego black boxes and adult sets. Like I've liked the whole adults welcome. Like I've never my dark age lasted like a week when I was 13 because I wanted to become like a sports player, and it's like, no, Legos, I still love Lego. Like I've never fully left the hobby, but I'd seen it when I was a kid to now where it's like definitely the last 4 years it's been cool to be into Lego, not just as an adult but just in general. Like, as a kid, it's like, even as a kid, if you were into Lego, it's like, oh, do you not want to do something else? Like what they've done, like I'm sure they've made so much money just from the whole marketing. But I do think it's they're future proofing their next audience. But I also wonder, do they recognize, are kids as interested in toys as much as they used to be? Like, I don't, like I still buy Lego sets for young family members, but the interests have shifted a lot. I don't want to be like TikTok brain and all that crap, but like it does seem to be kids a bit more fast paced, whereas Lego is really like not like homework, but you have to sit down and dedicate time to it. But there is an end result, and also there's an even further end result as a kid with Lego. The stage I was at as a kid, and probably you too, the dismantling of it, the imagination side. But no, I completely agree. Like, I do think with the themes and stuff like that too, you're going to be bringing in temporary Lego fans, someone who only buys 1 or 2 sets in their lifetime. Like, there's probably people out there, the only Lego set they've bought is a bouquet of flowers and a Titanic set because they love the film, and that's it. That's all they'll ever maybe buy. But I think that's.
I think what you just briefly mentioned then, I think goes back to what we were saying about the instruction booklets. And I don't think Lego is stupid. I think they know how these kind of algorithms and stuff work. And I think if they're spending more time on their phones, which everybody says they don't want to do, but
they still do.
Most of those messages saying get away from your phones are on social media. So it's kind of like, like the company I work for has recently launched this huge campaign talking about time well spent, and it's like a kind of campaign. It's going off the subject a little bit, but hear me out. They're trying to get our staff to focus more on, and encourage our customers to focus more on putting the screen down and doing crafts and art and things like that, which is great because the majority of what we sell is craft and art type products. But to be able to watch the video advertising it and telling us how we're going to do it, they've got to log on to a website and they've got to watch it through. And I was just saying, to me, it just doesn't make sense. But I see why they're doing it, because in Lego's case, it's because they know that the kids are on there looking at instructions because they've got to.
Yeah.
Then while they're on the phone and while they're Googling that, it's creating a history for that child and creating a presence, an online presence for them, so that they can tailor adverts to them, so they can sell them more sets. It's like that, because at the moment, most kids have their they've probably gone out there and done some research and realized that most kids at a certain age only have sets bought for them rather than buy for themselves. And that's probably something they want to try and tap back into. And I think, they did it with Mario. I don't know why. It didn't surprise me anyway. And I think it's going on a little bit what you talked about the fact that it's like driving people online and kind of thing. So, but anyway, we're going too political now. So my brain's starting to melt.
But yeah, I've only got 15 more minutes.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, do we want to do the newest installment of?
Yeah, because every 2. Yeah. Well, it's the first tomorrow, isn't it? Problem is, everyone's left the chat now.
We still got 6 people lurking, mate. And what I'll do is I'll clip it for you if you like.
I'll clip
it for you and put it on Instagram.
Yeah, so obviously it's October tomorrow, so and I've been waiting to do this one because and I thought I'd wait for my birthday month because obviously I'm OT. Of course, it was originally made for the Boxabois as in clones, wasn't it? Right, so this month, slightly taking the piss. It's a box of
hell yeah,
real boys. I don't know if you want a full screen or.
Sorry, mate. The non-clone boys. How do I full screen?
Real boys.
The normals.
Right, and as you can see, he's kicking one off the stand to clone trooper.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh what? I thought that was falling. Right, I see it. Yeah,
He's kicking him. I've got one of those superhero stand things.
Yeah, the action pieces.
So there's obviously they're all different types of stormtroopers. There's like the old one there, and Then you've got a Death Trooper that came in the 20th anniversary set. You got my favourite Scout Trooper.
Great.
You've got
Got a Shore Trooper in there?
You've got the Snow Trooper one, who's got his gun, who's also got a clone trooper. Then you've got your pilot. So you've got your TIE Fighter. You've got your original AT-AT or AT-AT pilot. I'm old school, so it's AT-AT to me. The other one, and then 2 different Snow Troopers.
Nice.
So there is the box. October's the box of real boys.
Seen it here first, guys.
Yes, it will be on my Instagram tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll try and clip that if I get a chance. I keep meaning to do with all the other episodes, taking out funny parts, because I watch it back sometimes and think, I got to clip that out, and I always forget. I've been
dying to do this. This was originally what I wanted to do. Like, did the Boxabois, and it's like, nah, I want the real Boxabois. Obviously, me being OT. So yeah, I kind of had enough. I mean, there was I had one of the old Scout Troopers as well, but I didn't have any space really. I thought, so I left him out.
You could do. I mean, I was thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking, the options are endless, really, because you could do like the updated troopers, like sort of including the Shore Trooper and the one from Solo and things like that. But what was the 2 I was thinking of? I was sat there the other day and thinking, I was watching. Yeah. Oh no, I was in a cinema. I was in the cinema. I was thinking, do that. You could do like special edition added characters, so characters that were added in the special edition. I thought of a few.
I've still got a few ideas, and there's one that I'm going, but it's just getting the name of it sometimes.
Yeah.
Obviously, in a lot of sort of sets and stuff, you'll just get general genetic people, like extras, as I call them. I want to do a box of extras. I mean, where are we? Got one here, for example.
Box of extras.
Like that came. Like these that came with the
background characters.
Background.
The rejects.
Yeah, that was the other one. That was the other one I was thinking of. You should do a box of gonks.
I have thought of that, but I haven't quite got 12.
You can build them.
12. I haven't got enough.
I should say, you know what you should do, Martin, is you should do a box of like evolution, like phase 1 clones to OT to sequel, like regular scout pilot.
Yeah, the only problem is I can only do boxes of the boys of figures that I have.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
And I don't have. That's why I'm holding back on the Saber one, because I can't do it without Darth Maul.
Right.
Yeah. Buy the book,
you mentioned it earlier. No, Johan mentioned it earlier. On Thursday, I am going down to the Lego shop to treat myself to an early birthday present. I'm getting myself the Infiltrator.
Oh yeah.
So
that's a nice set. That is it looks so good.
That's so Guerrera figure.
And I'm definitely, and it is a treat really, because it's coming out of my points anyway. I'm not actually paying for it. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, there you go. That's what they're for.
Yeah. So I thought, because it's an exclusive on Smiths, and that never go down. So I thought, well, I might as well just get it in a Disney shop. And I'll probably see Padawan down there anyway. So
nice.
Thursday. Yeah, I'm not going down for the cell bars. I'd love to, but
I was just going to say, you're going for the.
I'm not going to do what I did last time. When the Barador come out. No. And then on the day, I bloody went down and spent 4. No, I'm definitely not doing that.
Well, I just want to give a shout out to Muttley, because he did mention earlier about the Badge Boys, and we didn't want to cut him short, Muttley, because you're always welcome here, mate. But I feel like the badge has been done to death out there. Just been talked to death, and I'm over it. But if you guys want to mention whether you're going to go and get it or not, I know I'm not. Now we know Whittakee's not. Are you grabbing a Slurpy?
The real answer is no, but the fantasy answer is I'm going to buy all of them to prevent Motley from buying them.
See, I will do. I want that set, but just not maybe in a couple of years' time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think it's. I just think I think. I don't know if someone said it on ACOB, but they said that might be one of those UCS sets that maybe like the Razor Crest will get like a deep discount on at some stage.
Hopefully.
Because
I mean,
I
don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I'm saving up for Chicago.
Yeah.
same.
I get fed up with selling that. Actually, I must be getting on people's nerves, but yeah, that's so. Do you like this month's of Boxabois? Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, we some W's went up in the chat for you, mate. Even though that's not what I was asking for. I wasn't asking for that. I was actually just saying W for this, but I think guys gave W's as well, which is great. So, I
mean, at one point I was just going to put just all stormtroopers in, but I like a bit of a variety, and it's a bit boring, isn't it? If you just got so I've managed to find 5 different kind of stormtroopers. Some, like you said, some were made like really early, some were made in the mid-90s, and then obviously you've got your Family Guy ones.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. I've got something that.
Well, I will say, when you're watching the movies back to back, you do realise that helmets do change quite a lot.
Yeah, especially.
You notice that Snowtrooper. It's the only one I got. He's got an actual cloth.
Ooh, I think I have one of them. What?
2014 era.
I've only got the one.
You're not long, Cool Han. Like the Stormtrooper helmets changed so much in the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi, they look horrible.
The wear and the tear on him. I think it was in Return of the Jedi where Luke gives himself up to Vader, and then on Endor, and you see the helmet from the side. You can see it was all damaged underneath. And I don't mean like battle damaged. I mean like the polystyrene or whatever it was made of was all like taken away. And I'm like, what? You wouldn't see that. I've never. I gotta say, I did want to do this as a discussion topic, but I thought it was a bit selfish because I'd be kind of just talking to myself really. But some of the stuff I picked up on in those movies that I've never picked up on before, and I will just generalize by saying that Rogue One has been my favorite movie for a while, but that solidified it because it's just so clean, so well done, such a almost perfect movie, and not obviously in comparison the years, the budget, all that kind of thing. You can't compare it for that reason, but so many like schoolboy errors and issues that I noticed in both of the other trilogies, and the prequel trilogy is less forgivable because it was like 20 years later and they're still making some really fatal errors. But like that I'd never even noticed before, so just silly things like Darth Vader's talking, and they do, obviously we knew it was a voiceover, but there's scenes where you see him talking and the conversation stops and he's still gesticulating like he's talking, and I'm thinking, why would they have not edited that a little bit better than that, but again, it's keen eyes because I've watched it so many times. But when you're watching the cinema,
the Ewoks as well, you can see some like the mask has gone down.
And Chewbacca when he does a scream and you can see the little air hole in the back of his rubber mouth kind of thing. It's just a tiny little air hole.
Charm. It's such a charm.
It is a charm. But what I'm saying is that those are things I'd never noticed before, and it's got to the point where I've watched the movie so many times I've become such a snob that I can pick up on things like that. So there were pluses and minuses to watching it in the cinema again. So
I ignore them when it comes to Star Wars.
But I love it.
So the next topic I want to do, unless you want to do anything else before you go, I wanted to do this. But if you there's a few that we only do towards the end, which is like shout outs. We've got on here 2025 leaks and rumors.
No, that was for next week.
Yeah, I feel like that's been done to death. So what we will say now then.
No, I haven't spoken about it. There's certain things I want to talk about it next week.
Next week or next show?
Next show, sorry.
No, I was going to say, I thought perhaps you were planning to go solo then, but...
No, you know what I mean, next show.
That's why next show. Put that on. So come to the next show, guys. The next show, we will be doing 2025 leaks and rumors. Come on back. And this is something I haven't been doing in previous episodes, which is advertising our next one.
It's only just to have what I feel like about certain things, and maybe what you lot thought about certain things. But yeah, we'll do that. No, the only thing I wanted to say is today I just picked up a couple of these. First time I've ever actually bought.
Oh, did you use the app?
Yes, I did.
Did it work well? Or,
There's no
I haven't opened them yet.
Oh,
Just-
live open.
Let's just see.
And do you know
Live
why?
crack.
I wanted to get 2 Pacific ones, right? That's all I wanted to get. And very quickly show you why. You know the Christmas,
I didn't even.
you know the Christmas festival thing that they brought out last year,
Yes.
the Millennium Falcon with the sequel figures, the Christmas one.
Yeah, the wee
yeah.
diorama. Yeah, the scene.
Come off now. Hold on, 2 secs. Just bear with me.
Let's see if it works.
Oh, that?
Whittakee.
No, sorry. I was setting up.
Whittakee.
It's falling apart. Yeah?
Okay.
Keep cracking. Oh, right. Okay. Right.
Peer pressure.
Let's see.
Oh, bloody
No, you
hell.
don't have to open it if you don't want to, mate.
No, it's not that.
You got-
I was trying to set up. I had something set up here, and it's just gone tipped up.
Mate, join the life of live,
Yeah.
Right. I'm nearly there. Oh,
Live broadcasting.
live broadcasting. Yeah, sorry, I completely forgot what I was trying to say. It's just irony, like.
well, I've lost the turkey now. Right. So obviously we've had the Christmas one, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I specifically got these 2 to go in my Halloween one that I made. See that? I'm not a mock builder, but I've
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
It's
That's
a-
really cool.
you've got a mummy in the background.
Hey.
I've changed the orange and black lights. You've got, instead of a Christmas tree, it's an autumn tree. A bat, a cat, rats, a Dementor. That's found the wrong way. It's got a spider on there. Yeah, so spiders. So okay, I will crack one open. Yeah.
Yes, I just
You don't have to, mate. I was only teasing, but if you want it,
I was going to open them when I got off tonight anyway. So
I thought you were going to keep them for after your first day back at work, perhaps, as a kind of.
no.
GM.
Well, yeah, the first one worked.
hell yeah.
What is that? Oh. So and one of them, believe it or not, because the bloke said, I said, "Oh, have you got them?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "What? Scan them?" And I was like, "Oh, well, okay, yeah, you all right with that?" And he went, "Yeah." He said, "Everyone." And the last one I wanted was literally the last one at the bottom of the box. But yeah, the first one I want, yeah. There he is. He's a vampire. He looks like a vampire.
Wait a sec, no, full screen here. Full screen Jones. Oh yeah,
He is.
yeah.
I haven't put his cape on, it'd take too long, but yeah.
Nice.
Oh, look, alternative. Yeah, so he will go.
Yes.
There he
Yeah, I
is.
was just about to say, if you run out of ideas for Boxabois, you could do an alternating Christmas diorama and do like it seasonally. So
Yeah.
instead of Boxabois, you can do an Easter, a Valentine's, whatever.
I mean, this is not the one just changed. I bought a second one so I could do.
Ah,
Ooh.
right. Yeah, because there's
The
some
second
parts
one.
in there, like those gate pieces on the outside. So to be honest with you, I was struggling to see what parts of it were the original.
Yeah.
I mean,
Except
a lot of this, like the gate, these bits, the pumpkins and that, it came last year in the it was like a GWP, I think, like Halloween pack. So you had
Oh,
like
right.
like bats and stuff like that. in it.
I remember seeing that. Yeah, yeah.
You had like half a skeleton there with a witch hat, and but obviously I haven't done it yet, but this one is going to be the witch. The witch is in this one, and obviously
Right.
I've got a couple of skeletons to put in as well. So
Nice.
yeah, so that's my my little for Halloween. So it comes out once a year. Yeah, but yeah, you could do lots of different ones, I suppose.
Yeah, you
Do
could
an
do that
Easter
season.
one. Yeah. So
So check another reason to come back, guys. Another reason to come back. So
yeah, I
we'll
didn't mean
keep...
to actually show that off, but there you go.
No, that's good, mate. I like it. So So we're going to do 2025 leaks and rumors in the next episode.
Yeah.
We're also going to do, because I think it deserves some time and some girth, 2024 roundup and ratings. And by then, I think everything, the majority of things will have actually come. Oh, a little rat, yeah.
Another animal to put on my display.
Mockumentary, I want to do that. I did want to talk about this briefly, if I'm honest, in this episode, but I've got a couple of people lined up as guests who are mockers, so I feel like they would fit in there better. And in case anybody was wondering about the thumbnail, in the thumbnail you can see, I can't remember the character's name, my fiance knows, from Animal Crossing, because I was just suggesting that was about the IPs. Is it too many IPs? Which I think we kind of hashed out a little bit. We can always talk about it again if people want to, but that is me suggesting that I think something like Animal Crossing was done for the sake of it. I don't see them selling. They're already going down in sale. There are some people out there buying them, but I feel like it was way too late. Missed opportunity. We've got the Anakin jizz bit. Sorry, go on, Slurpy, what were you saying?
No, I just think that Animal Crossing should have been 2021, 2022 at the latest. Like that, 4 years after that ship sailed. I know it's still a very popular game, but that COVID hype was real for it.
Yeah.
Like, you could sell a pair of Animal Crossing AliExpress socks on Amazon, and they go out of stock the minute you listed them, and it's like I think Lego missed that. But
Animal Crossing Crocs. Animal Croxing.
Oh God. Don't ever say that again. No.
But we've got the little Legoland ice cream vat thing, which is actually that's an actual photo of one of my instructions. Ooh, yeah. Oh, he's fully kitted out. Nice. Oh, it's blue on the inside as well. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And then also we've got on there a couple of other things, which, I mean, the barnacle was on there because we were going to talk about, and this is where I want to kind of decide where we're going to go next, because, we haven't got Whittakee for much longer, if at all. But have we got a comeback wish list for IPs? So I think that's something we could talk about again, because now that we've talked a bit about IPs, everybody's been sent away with some homework. Whether you're a host or whether you're in the chat, go away and decide which IP would you like back. Because I know a lot of people would want Barnacle back, hence the picture. I don't want people to think that I've kind of clickbaited them.
I did make a wish list of what I would like, but it's not a comeback.
Ah, right. Yeah, well, that's a good point, actually, because it doesn't have to be comeback. It could be something you'd want. Like, I want Tron to come back, but is it really a comeback? Because they only had the one set and it was kind of promotional set. I don't know. But yeah, so we've got that. We've got the next clone division or next clone battle pack. We'd like to see, ideally, a bit of both, sets and division. But and the other thing is Mockumentary. That picture of that little set you can see on the thumbnail. I haven't got a better picture of it, a bigger picture of it, but you can see it there, just underneath the episode 6 to the left. That's actually a mock that I built myself, and that is made solely using the parts from an X-wing. So no spare parts at all. I think I had a handful of parts left over, but I built a ship that is kind of the wings on it, a bit like the U-wing transfers, so the wings go from the front to the side. So I'll show that in a bit more detail when I can finally get around to getting some pictures loaded up, and I might actually have the set out to show you guys as well. So I did want to do a little bit of teasing as well with this thumbnail and this episode, to say some things we're going to be talking about in the future. So, but yeah, what am I missing?
But just noticed that I got a chewy.
I noticed it when you first came on, and I've actually got one very similar, but it doesn't say Star Wars on it.
I had one saw it a few weeks ago and was like, "Well, where'd you get it from?" I was like, "I can't remember. I think my daughter bought it for me." But the only other the other thing on maybe for next time as well was something that I was going to discuss with you. I won't discuss it now, but it was just called Surprises of 2024.
Oh,
I'll explain more about that. So I'm going to say goodnight, chaps, but thank you for a lovely night. I've really enjoyed it.
Nothing more.
Obviously, it just says end for me, so I better not. I'll just...
Oof.
yeah, don't end stream, mate.
I think I was the first one in again. So yeah, I'll just go out and hopefully everything's fine.
Yeah, well, it's probably easier if I kick you out without that sounding awful. But
yeah, okay. So let me just say goodbye then. So bye, everyone.
yeah, so thanks for joining us, mate. Get yourself a nice
yeah.
dinner.
And also, the audience, thanks for and like and subscribe and all that. So.
And also want to say, Pub luck. Good luck for going back to work, mate. Hopefully it goes well.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Hope it's a good transition back in again, and it's
Do you know what? Without being too coming in here with you two, it's helped. So thank you. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Anyway. You know where we are anyway if you need a chat.
Yeah.
Although we're not always available, but
yeah, because I need to talk to you actually about Cardiff. So
yeah, okay, yeah, no worries.
Very quickly, because you said, you didn't know if you're going to work because my friend's no, he's not. I'm going on my own now. So.
Right, okay. Well, I haven't actually heard anything back from the organisers.
I'm definitely going.
I'm getting a bit worried, but they said that the earliest I could finish is like 1 o'clock, and I'm thinking, well, that's like, in 3 hours you'll have seen everything, and then you're kind of hanging around for me to finish. So I'm in two minds now whether to just, enjoy it this year and yeah. So.
All right.
But yeah,
kick me out then. That's great. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, cheers, mate. All the best. Take care.
Bye.
Take care.
Oh, mate, I can see you coughing back the urns there.
Hold it back. Hold it back.
What do you want to do? Should we go till about past?
Yeah, if I can. I'll be my bedtime anyway, so yeah, don't mind.
Yeah, so we'll have done. I want to keep it under 3.
Yeah.
And a quick shout out to Muttley, who's got a full set of teeth.
Yeah. He says root canal, but.
Oh, I thought maybe it was turkey. Got some turkey teeth.
Oh my days.
It took me a while to work out what that was, because I'm thinking, well, turkeys don't have teeth. And then I realised that it meant like you had a full set of teeth.
Yeah, done it. Oh, he's walking with those like bright white shiners. Just they won't yellow like Lego white. They'll be fucking perfect.
Yeah, we say goodnight to Whittakee. Great to have him on board. I don't like doing these shows because when you guys left, I think it was the last one, I was like, it just didn't feel the same. Just talking.
No, but you kept it well for the remainder though.
No,
I listened to it.
Only because I was conscious of the fact that we'd set up these topics and I didn't want to just leave people hanging. And I know we've done it again this week, but I like the fact that it's organic. And I'm trying to lean into that a little bit. But at the same time, when I'm sat down sitting and planning it and deciding, I'm thinking, we've got to have something just in case I don't want to be trying to think of topics. But I feel like we overcook it every time. And I didn't want to let people down by being like, well, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. So I tried to do as best I could on my own, but I did feel as if it was like I was missing some kind of feedback. It wasn't the same. So I don't want to make too big of a thing of it without the co-host. So what I know you can't see the topics, but I want to do. I won't do our favorite Lego sets.
Yeah, it would be
because we kind of did that in the pictures anyway, and mine wasn't that specific ATST. It's just that I always loved the ATST. And every version of that build I've done, which is probably 4 or 5 now, is being stellar, absolutely stellar. And it's just such a great ship. Watching it in every version it appears throughout the 7 movies I've watched, which I think it appears in most of the movies at some point, in some kind of variation. Obviously, the different versions of Walker in the prequel. It's just such a fantastic looking thing. It's aged really well. It still looks really good and clean, even on Endor. But anyway,
can I ask, if they drop a UCS ATST, you copying it, or because
because
for a fact that if they did it, if you look at the old ATST UCS, it looks really good, but you know for a fact that if they do a 200-pound one, it's going to look phenomenal. Like I think it would be like.
Yeah. It's weird though, because I'm not a minifigures guy, and I don't mean I throw my minifigures away. I do, like the minifigures. I do collect some minifigures, but I'm not a huge fan of them. For me, this is another discussion topic, but if it was percentage out of 100% split, I would go 60% set. No, 65% set, 35% figure. In terms of what's more important to me. That's probably no different to a lot of people, I guess. But the idea of it not being minifig scale, I don't, the only UCS sets I am attracted to are the ones that are UCS scale, that are minifigure scale. So Falcon, 8080. And most of that's another reason why I like them in Lego, the ATST, is because, near enough every version has come out has been as close
really
as,
good.
Yeah, in terms of minifigure scale anyway. T16 Snow Speed is the same.
You should look at some of the like I really like the ATSTs. The one I got I've got the Rogue One and Hoth. They've been dismantled. That's part of my agenda. But you should look at the rebrickable ATSTs. Like, they get the shaping of it down really, really well.
Yeah.
I've done
one.
Really?
I've done one. I did the first order ATST.
But that had no head.
Yeah, exactly. But on rebrickable, I did the head.
Oh, right.
I built the head on rebrickable because there was one that came out that's specifically designed to go on that set, because it does exist in the sequel trilogy. Briefly, you see it, and you see it in the background before the head gets ripped off. So they based it on that, and it's, I don't know why, but it's got that first order feel to it. Just building it because of the way they've kind of, smoothed out some of the lines and made it a bit more sort of menacing looking. The way they've done that to fit in with the aesthetic of, that's one thing I did like about First Order, in that you could tell it was Star Wars and it was based on an original version, but they did what I think would happen in real life. Look at the old versions of the space shuttle, and then you look at newer versions, how it still looks like the space shuttle. When you see them together, they look nothing like each other, but it's supposed to be a new version of the same thing. Do you know what I mean? How it's evolved nicely. I think they did that. They did that fantastically with the First Order.
You take I've just looked at it, just reminds me of like a Mark 1 Golf from the fucking 70s, and you take a Mark 7 or 8 now. It's the same family, but just because I didn't realize, because I've never really seen the First Order ATST, but you know how the ATST's got the 2 eye sockets, for lack of a better term. I think the First Order's got like just a single visor instead, and it does look cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that was a bit of a tangent, really, because I'm just talking about in general how they designed the ships for the First Order, where they made it so it looks like Star Wars. It looks like some of the original, like the Guerrilla Walker or the the M6, whatever it was, Walker, where it looks, you could tell it's supposed to be an updated version, but it's kind of got. So it was. I found that a great way of being original, but still sticking to what we love. And I think, in terms of ships, and obviously the Lego versions of them in particular, I think they did a fantastic job with that. That's one thing that that gets overlooked when people give a stick to the sequels, is that I think they did the ships fantastic. And some of those ships are like some of the best ships in Star Wars. Kylo Ren's TIE silencer is, it's like a perfect ship.
I know the X-Wings got criticized for like another X-Wing, but you can't deny the colorways we got for the X-Wings, like a black X-Wing, the white one with the blue axe, like they were really cool.
But you're right. But I feel like with the X-Wing, it didn't change enough. It didn't look like a modernized X-Wing. It just looked like all they did was recolor it for the films. I mean, obviously the same with Lego, but I don't know, with some of the other ships, particularly the First Order ships, I just feel like, I don't know. Anyway, that's a segue. But the point I was trying to make is that I have done that on rebrickable, because I always thought that set was kind of, a great opportunity there to build it. And so I've got that built somewhere. I'll have to try and dig that out for that mock episode as well. But it looks phenomenal, I gotta say. It's mostly dark grey with what light grey highlights as opposed to the other way around, which makes it. I feel like it looks a little bit more menacing. So I want to talk about. Did you buy anything? Have you bought anything recently? Lego? Is it worth doing pickups?
Just more bloody collectible minifigures. These two. My Asda still has the space minifigures, and I got these two, right? Orion
wait a sec.
and Bug.
Let me full screen you because I can barely see him.
So I got the Orion figure. His club kind of is loose on the table.
Yeah.
The Bug. I have 4 or 5 of these bugs, and every time I get them, it's like, oh geez, another one. Because the Brick Search app works sometimes for me.
Right.
And I have to use 4G here in Asda, and Asda's, it's not like, it feels weird. You're in the kid like scanning it, and sometimes it takes a minute, by the way.
Yeah.
For the image to load, and then when it loads up, I was talking to Martin about it on Instagram. Sometimes it doesn't actually show the figure; it'll show the overview of the wave, and it's like,
right.
It's a gamble. But I know I've read that for the D&D wave, it's really refined. Like you scan it and it just shows exactly.
Yeah.
But not for me. That's really it. I was thinking about potentially buying, like, I don't know. It just was like, you ever wake up and it's like, I might just buy the Imperial Star Destroyer or this. For me, I really want to buy the Cantina before it retires, and I've put out price alerts. Like I wanted to get, because I know it's going to retire and I'm going to really regret it. But I've had 4 years to get it. But the onus is on me there.
The figure selection in there is, that's one set where the figures outshine the set. The set is fantastic, don't get me wrong, but the figures make that set. If they'd done 2 figures in that set, which I don't think they ever could have.
No,
because of BS. But if they'd done any less than what they did, it's crazy. I
think that's what the problem with the barge was. I know we talked about, like, I do think the figures they have in the barge is like adequate, but the Cantina is more iconic, I think, in cinema than the barge. But the barge still had a lot of freaky characters in it.
Yeah,
and it's like they could have threw in, just throw in, even if it's not applicable to the scene, like just throw in a random Twi'lek or a Jawa, like just to buff it out a bit more, add a bit more character. But
yeah, and I think
we talked about it a lot anyway. But
it was worsened by the fact of the skiff that comes with it.
Oh yeah,
I think the only way they can salvage it now is if they do another skiff, because there was another skiff inside, but the other skiff is purely random bad guys. Because I was watching the film the other day, and I think there's either 5 or 6 bad guys on the same skiff, not including Boba Fett, on that skiff, along with Lando, Chewie, and Luke. So it's like, I think it's 6 bad guys, because one of them is a humanish type character. And I just think to put none in there. Boba Fett obviously isn't on that skiff. He kind of lands on there briefly, and then obviously flies off it again. But they put him in as a bad guy. But it's supposed to represent the skiff, but it only really represents the scene where, they're about to fall in. Because at that point, Luke is still on there, and the other guys have. Do you know what I mean? But it's just, I don't know. If they put more random bad guys in that, random henchmen in that, I wouldn't have thought it'd be so bad. But the other skiff that kind of pulls up, there's about 15 henchmen on that one,
loaded.
Yeah, and Luke jumps on there and starts taking them all out. And next minute, he's he's climbing onto the
side of the barge.
The other skiff is completely empty. You only see him take 2 or 3 guys out, but he must go absolutely bananas with them. And that's the scene I want to see. That's like a hallway scene, but on a sail barge. You imagine the hallway scene with him and the dark droids, and Vader with the rebel troopers. I want to see a hallway scene of Luke landing on that barge and just cutting through those guys, because you see him hit 1 or 2, and he's just kind of standing, and then the next minute it's just sat there, just on its own, and he just
floating.
Explode.
It's so
You just
bizarre.
think,
If you ever play the Lego, the original Lego Star Wars games. Sorry.
no, never, no.
So
Pleasure.
thank you. So when you have to do the same thing, you have to go from one skiff to another and clear the enemies.
Yeah,
But you're just left with two, like the empty skiffs.
yeah.
Like you can go back. It's like there's no remnants of anyone ever here. But no, I do think it was like I know we talked about it in previous streams, but I think having the end num in there, like just I'm even of two minds about the Jabba Sail Barge's 25th anniversary. Look, like it's like I don't know, I just feel about two minds of it.
Yeah.
I just
No, it doesn't make sense. But the other thing
my
I'll say as well is watching back the movies when everybody says, that doesn't make any sense for in Rise of Skywalker for there to be remnants of the second Death Star on that planet. Well, I watched it again in a gigantic screen, and unlike the first Death Star where it explodes into just like particles,
dust.
the second one doesn't. As you see it explode, you do see at least 2 or 3 large kind of, what would be like fragments of metal if it was something smaller blowing up, because obviously that's what they did do, blow something up smaller. But it's like, right, you do see large fragments, which, would be, the size of probably buildings, when they...
I remember. I don't really follow EU lore anymore for Star Wars, but I remember people saying the biggest issue with that being all of that wreckage from the Death Star would have landed not right on Endor, but like it would have like meteor, like rocks falling down, like while they're celebrating, like they should have all been fucking blitzed.
Well, no, that's it though, because it was orbiting Endor.
They're on the Force Moon.
Yeah, they were on the what do they call it? They call it the
Force Moon of Endor.
Yeah, but the Emperor calls it something else. The Sanctuary Moon. He calls it the Sanctuary Moon, which is kind of weird. But there is another planet there as well. So Papa Rex, shout out, thanks, mate. I'm sorry if we missed you in the chat sooner along the line there, mate. But as per usual, always riding with us. I appreciate that. Get you through your afternoon of work, boys. Yeah, nice one. But yeah, sorry, we did segue slightly off of pickups.
Oh, yes.
Muttley's picked up no less than 5. Only 5?
Oh, that's late.
5 of the 212. 2014 Boxabois last week, and 2 skiffs, 1 without figs.
See, he's recreating that, the blank skiff.
Yeah, he's trying to recreate the hallway scene of skiffs. 2 skiffs together after Luke's been through them. So one's just got no figs. So I'm guessing you bought that second hand, or with just figs removed, which I guess is second hand. But yeah. So what's your plan with that? You're going to just fill it with henchmen? Because I mean, henchmen are few and far between, aren't they? And, even some of the previous versions of the skiffs have only had 1 or 2 in. So we must have to put together quite a lot of henchmen from that era. But you could probably just get away with some random guys.
You could fig bash some of the stuff from Boba's throne room, and I think you can even get off with, giving the little like freaks from the cantina a spear and a gun and throw them on, like the.
Well, because literally just after Han shoots Greedo, and then he obviously in the special edition version there's that extra scene they've added in, and there's 2 other versions of Greedo in there.
It's the same costume.
But there's 2 of them there. Like, if he was in there, if it was just him in there, I would have been like, that was a mistake there because he's there now and he's just killed him. But there's actually 2 of that Rhodian wearing the exact same outfit. But you can see both of them are on the screen at the same time. So it's clearly that they're part of some club where they're not only the same race, but they also have to wear the same clothes. But so I thought that was.
I found that whole scene so jarring because you've got a digital Jabba and Boba Fett's imposed into it. He's not in the original scene.
Yeah,
and it's just that that's one of the few Star Wars scenes where I'll skip. It's like does not need to be here. Like this is just breaks the complete flow of the film.
Is it just because they edited over the Irish fella, mate?
No, there was some of that discrimination. I didn't know he was Irish for years.
No,
I mean,
I don't know, because I've seen that original scene, and I don't think I even picked up that he had an Irish accent, if I'm honest. Before
I picked up a slight one, but it felt like he was trying to do like a non-Irish accent, like he's really fighting for his role, you know. But I just love the dedication ACOB have to like bringing Declan to like he there's no, I don't think there's any, I don't know if there's any other figures of him out there like Hasbro or Kenner. Like the images that they've sourced for the figure are really low quality stills. Like
but it's weird though that they haven't done it, because the argument would be, well, why would they be? Because it was, wasn't a real character, whatever. And I know this isn't a real argument in his favor, but they've done it with other special edition characters that have been added in.
Yeah.
But obviously those have been added in as they are, whereas he was added in and removed, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So his scene was added to the movie, but he was taken away from that scene. So I guess he doesn't really exist in the film at all, in that form. So it makes sense that he's not in it, but I'm surprised they haven't though at the same time. So
I know he's passed, but I want to know if he was ever contacted about when Jabba was, was formally introduced in Return of the Jedi. Was there talks to bring him back, or was it like, fuck no, we just need the slug guy?
Yeah,
instead. But I mean, look at, I prefer the slug Jabba. Like, I mean, it's just more disgusting and gangster and.
It is, and watching it up close and seeing how sort of I was almost embarrassed, because my fiance came to watch the last 3 movies with me, and I was almost embarrassed. It was almost like, when you're watching a movie and your parents in the room and there's like a kind of sex scene or whatever. It's kind of like, it's like he's like going, and all this stuff is hanging from his mouth, almost like this to my fiance. Oh, you don't need to see that. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of, but that's how it's supposed to be, I guess. It just goes to show how kind of awful he is, like, and throwing a toad in his mouth to gobble on.
I still think he's so well done. Like I get so much joy watching like Jabba. I know the main criticism of Return of the Jedi is you spend a third of the film while they try to save Han Solo. Yeah, and I do think it does drag on, but like I get so much joy from watching just the interactions, because you do get a build up of Jabba in the first 2 films, and
but he is a big threat. I think they depict it right in that it can't just all be Empire, and I think Star Wars have done something there that nobody else has really done before or since, where they've made it that is not just one bad guy, one enemy. There's actually, another enemy would probably be enemies with that enemy. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, but obviously that doesn't work in this. So it's like, and they make reference to that in the prequel movies where they're like, well, yeah, but the Hutts, the gangsters, they'll kill her if they find her. And it's like, yeah, but they're not looking for her. So, you know what I mean? So there's multiple, which it would be in a galaxy that big. You wouldn't just have one ultimate bad guy and one ultimate good guy. It's I like the way they do that. So
factions and clans. I've always wanted to read the. We're way off, but the original script for Return of the Jedi or idea was that Han Solo was supposed to be dead. And I've always wanted to know, because I think they wanted to make the films darker and darker. And a part of me is like, the Emperor wasn't supposed to die, I don't think, in the original draft. But I'm like, I would love to see that in an alternate universe. Like, do we still get a job?
I've read Infinities. And Infinities is almost like, because people keep saying, we need to do a Marvel What If for Star Wars. Well, it actually already exists, and it existed before What If, I believe, in comic version at least. It's called Infinities, where they just change something very slightly to the movie, and it changes the course of that film. And I don't remember them all. I've read them for all 3 movies, or original trilogy movies. But I remember the Jedi one quite specifically, because in it, what actually happens is when the Bosch is there with the thermal detonator. C-3PO bumps into, as he's getting back up off the floor after he's been knocked onto the floor by Jabba and he's covered in slime. As he gets back up, he slips and falls and hits Bausch, and the thermal detonator goes off. And I can't remember exactly what happens, but they manage to escape. All the good guys manage to escape, but they don't manage to get. And I think somebody gets blinded by the blast. I think it's like Chewie or something like that. No, sorry, they manage to escape, and they catch up then with Boba Fett on Endor.
Yes.
But by the time they rescue Han Solo and free him from the carbonite, he's been in the carbonite so long that he loses his eyesight, so he's permanently blind. But they have a battle with Boba Fett and Slave One on the Endor, the landing pad type thing, and it just changes the course of the movie and all the rest of it. And it was just a really good idea how they did that, and it's just one little tiny thing changed the course of the events of the rest of the movie. Now, the three Infinity comics don't work together because all of them are based on everything else up until that point being right. So, for example, if you read the Infinities for Empire Strikes Back, it changes the end of the film, so therefore the beginning of the next film wouldn't be the next.
Anyway.
They are individual stories. They're not. It can be a concurrent one, but it's endless what you could do and what you could change. But just someone to have their imagination to just change those things, and they still end up going to Endor, but they still haven't released. They're chasing Han and all the rest of it, and it's like I said, I could go all night trying to describe it, but look it up, guys. If you're into Star Wars comics, look up Infinities. You can get it on your tablet or whatever to read. I picked it up for free on there after reading the comics. I thought, I need to read them again. I managed to get them for free on some app I was using. So look, I think we'll have to close it off because it's gone past. But I just want to give a quick, to anybody who's still with us, shout out to you for still watching, whether you're creeping or whether you're in the chat. Muttley, I think, is still riding with us from the beginning, so top man. And I just want to give you guys a sneak peek of what we're going to be doing in the next episode. We will touch again on You Are All the Jedi because we did this episode. But obviously, if you guys got anything you want to talk about, feel free to reach out to me and we can mention that. We will do pickups in the next episode in a bit more detail. Hopefully by then some of us will have something to talk about. I know Martin definitely will. We'll do our shout outs as we always do, and we'll do that just before we go here as well today. He's probably a 2024 surprises because I had Martin do the banners. I'm not quite sure what he meant by that, but I think what he was referring to is that are there any 2024 sets that kind of shocked you, surprised you? But we also want to do 2024 in review. So we're going to just do a review of 2024 sets. Our favorite Lego sets, I don't think we really need to do that, but we could
touch it maybe a little bit, yeah.
And then this is the one I was going to try and squeeze in, but I think we'll keep it till next time because I want to do a bit more research on it. But I will show you a slide that I did. The only slide I did have prepared was for the slides I did have prepared for the segments we didn't talk about. I will touch on this again sometime in the future because I think that was quite interesting.
It lasted longer than I thought in a good way because it's like it opened up ideas for me. Like, damn, what if they did do that? The changes over the years too. Like I didn't even think like how simple it was back then.
Yeah,
and then
simpler times for simpler people. But it's given me some nostalgia vibes as well going through those.
That's cool though.
But I really enjoyed that segment. I just wish that I wasn't having to hold up pieces of paper to a screen, because it's not quite the same. And this is the homework topic for everybody at home, and I will remind you guys of this. But what IPs do we want to see make a comeback? Or what IPs would you like to see? Because Martin did mention, it's a good point. What IPs would you like to see that we've never seen?
What IPs do we want to see end?
Yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah, that's a 3-pronged assault that I think that could probably be the beefy section in the next one. And what I'll try and do this time is try and do a bit more advertising between. As opposed to just leaving until the weekend before. Maybe do some cut segments from this one. this is based on the unrealistic amount of time that I think I get. So LEGO 2024 in review. MOCumentary, and this isn't all necessarily in the next episode, guys, but stuff that we've got lined up we'd like to do. If we had all the time in the world, we'd talk about all these things. But other Star Wars hobbies. So for me, one of the pictures in that thumbnail was of a cross stitch that I did when I went to Celebration, which I've talked about briefly before. But I just wanted to show off a few of the sort of Lego or Star Wars cross stitches I've done, and as well as other hobbies. So, and again, that's one open up to the chat. What other sort of hobbies are you interested in that are Star Wars based? 2025 leaks and rumors. I think we will have to talk about that briefly.
Yeah.
No escaping it.
Only so much we can probably talk about. Like,
I feel like by the next episode, because it's 2 weeks, I think we might know a little bit more worth talking about. And then, that's something that we did in this episode. I created specifically for that. But what I will do is I'll just share this screen just briefly. So this is another piece of homework for you guys watching or on replay. It doesn't have to be a battle pack, but what clone division do we want to see next? Mm-hmm. Now, I put in the thumbnail Doom, which is 414, I believe. 414 division. I'm not actually sure of the numbers. But Doom Squadron, I've always been a fan of Dr. Doom, and I know that was what the character was based on, based on the colorings and stuff. But a bit of a Marvel crossover there. But I would like to see his division come in Lego in any form, and this is what I've got. This isn't everything, but is that being shared? Can you see that?
That's it shared now.
Yeah. So let me full screen that. Whoops. Ooh. No, that's you. Right, what am I doing? Full screen. There you go. So that's just like, I guess, the more popular ones. So we've got the first 212, which we've got. 104th we've had Wolfpack Troopers, but a lot of people would like to see them come back.
Yeah, return.
After that, it gets a bit hazy for me. I know the 41st was Gree, and that's on Endor, Kashyyyk. They were the Kashyyyk Troopers, essentially.
We've had all of that top one. Yeah.
Yeah. Because this is Commander Bakara down here, isn't it? 21st. So
that's the Galactic. Do you know the Galactic Marines? That's the one that everyone wants. Yeah.
So what's this 922nd? Is that Bly or Blythe? No, Bly, isn't it? Commander Bly next to Wolfpack.
We've never got him, but we've got his unit before in some of the older sets, like from 2005 and 7. I'll send you the figures of them after.
I know this other guy here, which is, what's that number? Can't even work out what number that is. 001? No, it's not 0, is it?
001? What
next to between Gree and Bly. What number is that?
91st. That's
where's that on 9 then? Because it looks different to the 9 there.
He's got a strange name, like Nemo or something like that. Or let me see.
He was on a speeder bike, wasn't he?
Yeah, Commander Name was his name.
I didn't realize I was a 9 because I thought, no, that's a 3 down there, isn't it? All right, I was looking at that down there thinking that was a 9. So it's 327th, 91st, 41st, 42nd. No, that's not a 4. What's that? What's the one on the end?
It looks like 47. It looks like 47.
Yes, it can't be a 4. Can't be a 4 though, because Gree is 41st, and that's a completely different number. And the 7 is in Blythe.
It's hard to tell. It really.
They're letters. They're not numbers. They're letters.
That's weird to me. I can't even bloody tell because it's like they don't even. They're like this weird Orabesh.
Yeah, I think that is. Yeah, the numbers are pretty much the same, but that one and the one next to Commander Bakar on the bottom, and this guy last but one before Doom, they're all letters, not numbers. So they must represent something else. I haven't got Obrish.
The shock trooper one. They're the Senate Guard. Let me see Senate Guard unit name, because it's I can't. SG. No, that's not right. Nah, I can't even. No, I'll be alright. That's giving me Senate Commandos. That's way off. No, I agree, Cooper. I think Galactic Marines would be really, really cool. But I don't know if they do it. It's been asked about for years, and it's I personally would like it because of the Battlefront games. Playing as the commander unit was always cool. But if they do it, I hope they would introduce like incorporate the dual molding. Because they're essentially just a snow trooper mold. I don't think people would be too opposed to kind of keeping that, but
well, you'd have to do Bakara as a different mold. Because his is very different to the other guys. I mean, the commanders are always slightly different, but his is very different. You know, it's closer to a trooper than his own battalion. Look, but I like the guy to his left. Is it 905?
Is it?
Is it 935? I don't know what division that is, but I actually like that sort of pattern. I think that looks pretty cool. I'm not as up to scratch on my as I should be.
Molly's not wrong. We've had Neo's unit twice in 2005 and 2014. I had the original one, but you only really I don't remember it being in much else. My clone knowledge is kind of limited to just the films and the first few seasons of the Clone Wars, but
yeah.
Oh my
so this shows a more. The only reason I didn't use this one is because the wording is so small on here that I can navigate the screen. I don't know. It's because this bloody mouse. I hate these mouse things, and there's no buttons on the mouse pad thing on the laptop, so you can't really you're limited to what you can do. But I couldn't zoom in enough to see the wording, so I just didn't bother with this one because I didn't actually know what most of them were, and I don't even see the standard ones on there either. I mean, I can see Wolfpack, but I couldn't even see.
No blankies.
Yeah.
Or even 501st. I just think the time for Lego doing these insane out there ones, I think it's personally past. When you think about I think the peak was before the sequels, whenever it was. I can't stress that 08 to 12 period was prequels, Clone War sets. I think it's the second or third biggest Star Wars sub theme. I could be wrong on that, and for a good reason too. It was popping at that stage, but I can't see them doing. I think they fumbled the bag with the clone battle packs, not because of helmet holes. It's we've basically got, out of the 4 cloner battle packs, 3 of them have been 501st, and we've got the the regular one with the shock trooper. I think that they just kind of messed up there. They could have done 212th even, or I don't know, a wolf pack or something like that. But I didn't. I don't know. And I know people, you definitely see it in the community. I never thought I would see it where people are kind of fed up with clones. Never in my life would I have seen that. From certain big figures.
But that, I think that's mostly because they haven't got the ones they want, not because they're fed up with clones in general. And of course, this topic of discussion, which I think we'll do in a little bit more detail next time, so we can see them. It was me just doing a bit of a teaser, but. Would have liked to have discussed it, but I think there's a lot of discussion around this, or a little bit, not as juicy as some of the other topics, but there's a bit of discussion to be had. And I think some better pictures will serve us better. Probably a little bit of more research. But this is a wish list. As we're not trying to guess which one will be next, or this one should be next because of this. And I think they're going to release this because I don't want to go that much into detail. We're not that kind of chat show. This is more of a if you had your choice and you could release anyone, what would it be? So it's not based on any rumors or anything like that. So, but yeah, I just want Doom because I think Doom looks amazing.
I do like the green because it's the Kashyyyk green is like quite swampy. Oh yeah, but Doom is like this nice. It's just it's a great green. And I had to double check like the units and like like the kind of joke about clone troopers is that they're like a packet of Crayola. They're all different. Like if there's a sparkly silver color out there, it's probably on a clone or whatever. And for I'm sure that was intended by George. Like, I mean, when you watch Revenge of the Sith, there's there's too many of them that are only on screen for moments. Commander Neo's only on screen for probably 17 frames or whatever. And people want him, and it's I don't know. I've always loved the 212. It's got my favorite. The airborne trooper with the.
Oh yeah.
That's my favorite clone design. I think it's like the peak clone.
They appear quite heavily in Revenge of the Sith. In comparison to the others, I guess. But no, you're right. They appear so small. In Clone Wars, obviously they appear quite a lot. If you watch that, but that was another reason why I like Doom so much, because that Master Tipley and Master Tiplar arc. I can't remember the name of the planet they're trying to sort of escape from, because I believe Mace Windu ends up there as well. But yeah, and they kind of one of the Jedi turns and gets killed, and spoiler. And I think that's one of the first times that they kind of hint at the 66 or 66 or something. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what happens, but I remember Commander Doom and his guys being in there and thinking, wow, that looks, that sort of color combination. So I kind of retrofitted some of my Republic ships at the time, which were all built at the time, and got rid of the kind of red-ish color, whatever you want to call it, dark reddish, and swapped it out for sort of yellow, black, and green accents. I've got a photo of that somewhere. It's more of a color swap than a mock, because it didn't change the builds as such. It just changed out those colors. And, got loads of credit for that at the time in that Facebook group I was in, because I just like the idea of that. But they wouldn't necessarily do that, because they didn't change the
ships or anything like that.
Yeah, to match the color. But it was just, something I wanted to have a little play with. And they've all been taken apart now anyway. But just that coloring. I mean, green's my favorite color anyway, but that little touch of yellow and a little bit of black. So yeah.
I think the only example I can think of where a clone ship has been repurposed, or designed, is Captain Rex's Y-wing. But I don't know. I think fans still want that. It's I'm an OT guy. I just want stormtroopers. I just wish we got a stormtrooper battle pack, 3 Stormies and a Scout. That's all I want from Star Wars anymore. A Barge Boy battle pack too to fill her out. But
how did the Astev, if you're here, how did the date go? Because he's gone on a bar crawl date, wasn't he? He seems in good spirits, so interesting. But yeah, thanks for joining us, coming back to us anyway, Astev, and for everybody who joined us along the chat. We're going to close it off shortly. But yeah, there's a little bit of homework for everybody to do. Go away and decide what IPs you believe should make a comeback, what IPs you believe have had their day and should be gone or never been made, and what are your favorite IPs. But yeah, so there's that. And what IPs would you like? No, did we already say that? What IPs would you like to see? What IPs need to make a comeback? What IPs need to be gone?
And that could be, I should say, how about that for both movie themes and original Lego themes? For me anyway.
Right.
I could, if that's okay. I might do normal themes as well.
Yeah. Yeah, because they did that. They reintroduced classic space by doing that ship that you like. So and I know a lot of people wanted Space to come back because it kind of did. I don't know, it has come back, hasn't it? Because I know they did it as a kind of was it Lego? No, but it wasn't it Lego City Space. Those sets that they brought back.
I think when we say
space, it wasn't an all-out theme. It was just a kind of sub-theme.
I think when we say space, it's its own theme, like not city, because city.
Yeah,
cities.
This.
We want city feels too real. It's Lego, but if you look at the Lego space themes from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, it's like set on Mars, fighting aliens, or it's catching crooks, or a bunch of Crayola. I talk about Clone Troopers being Crayola. My favorite figures are literal Crayola Skittle spacemen. Like that. Like that's what I think that's what we want from. Yeah. Is this the naked one? Whoa.
Oh, wait a sec. I've full screened the wrong person. Wait a sec. You always get shocked to see yourself, mate. Go big.
It just comes up immediately. Oof.
It's like looking in a mirror. So I just, this I've literally just got that left. I don't know what happens. But look how basic that is. But it's just something about it. It's just picking up the yellow bricks. It's supposed to be sand, I guess, from that planet. But this is what we want. This kind of, obviously, more updated than that. But I wanted to, I think there was talk at the time that they should do an all-out space theme again, and they didn't really do it. So,
I feel like they know that they can get off with doing these big releases like the Castle Space and Pirates, but and look at the ones, all the ones they've done is great. I would have loved it. The castle that they did a couple of years ago, the Lion Knights. Imagine if they did that in the yellow, like the original, or one of the first. That would have been deadly. That would have been.
No, Christ.
Yellow Sand Castle. Take it to the beach if your kids can't be bothered.
Yeah, well, that's like Oaktown. I think he's gone now. He only popped in briefly. He's building his sets on the beach,
He's out in California. God.
That's right. Yeah, it's right for some, isn't it? So the great stream, guys. I'm calling it a night. Good night to you both and those in the chat. Yeah, I think we got one lurker in the chat, and I think it might be my fiance watching. Last time I noticed when we closed off, I went upstairs and she had the stream going. She'd had it going, but she'd fallen asleep. She was like, I like watching your stream. It's great to fall asleep to. And I'm like, yeah, thanks.
That's a good endorsement.
The sound of my voice, but especially because that was the one where I'd been talking to myself the last kind of half hour or hour or whatever it was. But anyway, yeah, we'll Muttley's gonna, he's calling it a night, and we're gonna do the same. So yeah, any special shout outs, mate, before we go?
Mugsy lad, because he's always here every stream, even if it's for a few moments.
Yeah.
And don't know, I'm not going to shout out any other friends because they never commented. So I only shout out those who show up.
Do you think there was some in here today then?
I don't know. Maybe I need to set up I'd like to set up a link thing to see who clicks it. Well, not who clicks it, but if anyone clicks it. But Shay always shows up, and Arn sometimes shows up. Arn's message to say, "Oh, great stream" or whatever. That's nice, but comment.
Yeah.
But
it's not everybody's cup of tea, I guess. That's because
true.
I've mentioned to a couple of people who I know and said, jump in, and they're like, yeah, I will do on the next one. And they either do and don't let me know, or they just don't bother. But, I don't, when I mention that it goes sometimes around 3 hours, they're like, oh, I don't think I've got that much time. And I'm like, no, I don't expect anybody to sit there for 3 hours. I mean, I don't do that with the streamers that I'm really enjoy watching. I like watching ACOB, but I couldn't sit there for the whole thing. And that's not just because of the time it shows. It's because even if that was at 9 o'clock my time, 3 hours, I'd struggle to sit there for 3 hours just watching that. It can get tedious, and I appreciate that. So
I wonder what Muttley's doing, because he seems to be here the entire time.
Yeah, I think these guys aren't necessarily looking. They might be just listening.
Fair enough. He might
don't
be
think
trying to resort out his collection.
Yeah, stacking them up. I don't think I've got the. I don't know how it works. I need to speak to somebody about it. But there is a way of getting it so that you can. I think you have to have like a, be paying a premium perhaps, but you can have it so that I've listened to some. Like when I watch London Calling, it gives you the opportunity to listen to it without watching it, and you can do other things on your phone. Whereas you try and do that with any other YouTube or video or stream, and it'll just go off. But also, not to say that I feel like this would make a good podcast, but because it is quite visual as well. I'd like it to be more visual. But it'd be interesting to see if there's a way of doing that and flicking it over onto a podcast as well.
I never watch ACOB. I always listen to it at work. So whenever they're laughing about images, it's like I can't see it.
Yeah.
And it's like I just have to imagine when they talk about a girthy set to remove certain image, like.
How do you do it though? Because I mostly watch them because I think it is a bit audio visual, that one, but there are a few others like London Bridge Bricks. I'll generally listen, mostly because I can, because of this ability that his stream has got, but also because it's less visual for me. I mean, they are chatting, But how do you do it? Do you have your phone out like on the desk? But
I have YouTube Premium, so I would have it on me at work. Where I work at, I'm afforded that ability to like listen to stuff. But
right,
if they show merch or a funny thing, I will go out of my way, stop whatever I'm doing to like pause on the headphone, go over, check on YouTube to see what it is. But most of the time, it's like when they ranked the Lego sets, the Tyler, Padawan, and Brent, I knew every single set that they did, and I didn't have to check because it's like as soon as he said Imperial Inspection, it's like, yep, I know why, I can see it all in my head. Whereas like there have been times where they've done countdowns where it's like I missed that set and I'd go over and check, but no, that's like that for me. For over like London Bridge, I would. And Shy's is a literal interview. Like you don't need to. I don't mean that in a negative way, but it is the definition of.
I listen to that on Spotify anyway, generally, because he has transferred it. But what I'm saying is that on YouTube Premium, are you saying then that everything you watch and listen to gives you the ability to sort of do it right?
I get Premium because it's like as a student, I get a discount on it, and it's like, it just saves me from having to, like, I used to download stuff on iTunes, transferred over to the phone, but it's like, it's only a couple of £1 a month for YouTube Premium, and I can download the videos before work, and it really, really is handy. And everything from music to podcast, even YouTube videos.
Right. Because you've downloaded it, I see. Right, I'm with you. So, because what I was saying is that I don't know how. Because with M&R, I've watched some of his videos, whether they be a review or whatever, and sometimes it'll just pop up a box. It'll say, "Listen to this on the go," and I'm like, "What does that mean?" And you press the button, and then I can message, I can do it on my phone, but it's not all the time. It doesn't happen all the time, and I don't understand what it is.
I noticed that before I got YouTube Premium. Some videos were like that and some weren't. And the videos that weren't like that tended to be podcasts and long forms. And the videos that did give you the option to maybe close your phone or swipe off were a 2-minute meme compilation. It's like, it doesn't make any... This is the wrong audience.
Well, it doesn't really make a lot of difference. It's just out of curiosity if you knew how that works, because I try to listen to ACOB when I'm walking back and forth work, but my phone's kind of whistling around in my pocket, and then every now and then it'll just go off. I don't know whether it's because I've done a pocket, press the button, and it does my head in. So in the end, I'm like, I'll just listen to music. It's easier. But I struggle to sit there. The point I was trying to make is that I struggle to sit there and just watch that all out in one session. So I don't expect people to do it to us, especially because we haven't got the draw that they have.
Whenever they did ACOB early that time with CJ, I maybe listened to the first 5 minutes just so I could hear my super chat, and then it's like, right. And even when I was in America, I only listened to a few minutes, and that's the same for podcasts live.
No, that's right.
I know I was on your first one the whole time. Some London bridge I might be on, but very seldomly would it be like that. It's just time, and it depends what I'm doing as well.
No, that's right. It is quite tough. And the thing is the more like I started off with like 4 or 5 subscriptions, and now I've got dozens. And it's impossible to keep up with them. So, but anyway, we'll call it a night. So we got 0 viewers at the moment. So
oh my days.
So it's literally just me and you, mate. But anybody watching on replay, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the stream. Thanks for riding with us. And, we're going to play our outro and be
on our merry way.
On our merry way, absolutely. But thanks for being here to co-host with me, mate. Appreciate it.
No worries. I'll not regret it in the morning, waking up in less than 7 hours time. But
really, I'm on holiday this week, so not that I haven't got lots to do, but
chill.
Yeah, well, I got loads to do around the house. It's the last chance I'm going to get. So, but yeah, on that note, guys, thank you very much, and we'll play the other intro because we didn't play it at the beginning of the stream.
Oh, is the Barge released right now? Because it's the 1st of October, or is it released a little later?
No, I don't think it was the first. It was the 3rd, wasn't it? 3rd and the 2nd.
Well, we're 2 minutes into the 1st of October, and I wasn't sure if it was today, but
no, I don't think so. Anyway, I'm not sure. I've switched off to it, to be honest with you, because even if it was a set I was buying, I don't think I'd be like trying to buy it day one.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks, guys, and let us know in the post live chat your feedback and any other interesting comments. So speak to you all on the next one. See you in 2 weeks' time. And in 2 weeks' time, we've got our guest lined up already. We've got a handsome young fella by the name of Fit Lego Guy lined up as our next. So anybody who hasn't already checked out Fit Lego Guy, go over and check him out. He does his live streams whilst building. Lovely young fella over on the West Coast. So, he's giving up the middle of the day for us, essentially. But yeah, he's penciled in for next episode. And we'll see you guys there 2 weeks from today. And thanks for riding with us.
Out where we can chat and talk. Go on, would like to welcome on to a cool hangout where we can chat and talk. Let me introduce you now to Cool and the gang. A bunch of UK boys, Star Wars, Lego fans. We got Whittakee clean with his alternating Boxabois. Then the stop motion maestro Slurpy makes some noises. Englishmen, Irishmen, and Welshmen walking through a bar. Skip the beers, dance too. We only want that galaxy far. So settle in, grab a cup of tea, relax and unwind. Cool and the gang got the stream that's gonna ease your mind. Cool on, would like to